Chapter 105. However, why would the young owner of Hongxing Drugstore run to their small, remote drugstore to buy mysterious energy filters? Wang Jiaqin waves his folding fan, smiling in a romantic manner. You, Tian Yongjin, can come, why can't I? Hee hee. I thought that in today's beast fighting competition, the white wolf under Tian Dashao's hand would suddenly be so brave and fierce, turning defeat into victory. Turns out it was here that we found the miracle medicine. Tian Yongjin's face turns green and white, turning his head to glare at the guard and the short man beside him. It's all because of these useless things. They didn't even notice that they were being followed. Unexpectedly, this Wang Jiaqin followed them here and found out the secret of the special mysterious energy filter. It turns out that last night, Tian Yongjin and Wang Jiaqin had agreed to duel in the beast fighting coliseum. However, it wasn't the two of them who were fighting, but two carefully selected strange beasts. One was a red flame leopard. The other was a white ice wolf. Both strange beasts were early profound stage, but because of the nature-restraining relationship, Wang Jiaqin's leopard firmly suppressed Tian Yongjin's white wolf. Although it wasn't to the extent of defeat, the consumption of internal force was extremely fast. Unfortunately, Tian Yongjin didn't buy enough mysterious energy filters, and the quality wasn't good enough. He watched as the last bottle filled with mysterious energy filters was bitten by the white wolf, and the leopard only took half of the mysterious energy filter. Tian Yongjin thought that he would definitely lose, and was so angry that he swept all the fruit cups and plates in the private room to the ground. Wang Jiaqin, on the other hand, was leisurely and incomparably carefree. However, the next moment, something incredible happened. Because of excessive consumption of internal force and excessive use of the mysterious energy filter, the white wolf, whose body was covered in scars, suddenly opened its eyes. Its body erupted with a powerful and frightening momentum. Roar! A loud noise shook the sky, but the leopard on the opposite side whimpered a few times, retreating a few steps in fear. In the private room, Tian Yongjin and Wang Jiaqin simultaneously stood up, their faces revealing a look of horror. Because at that moment, they discovered that the white wolf's strength had advanced from early profound stage to middle profound stage. A profound stage mid-tier winter frost white wolf against a profound stage early-tier scarlet flame leopard. The result could be imagined. The leopard didn't even have time to swallow the rest of the mysterious energy filter before it was smashed into meat paste by the white wolf, dying on the spot. How could Tian Yongjin have imagined that his loss would be reversed at the last moment? Seeing the ugly expression on Wang Jiaqin's face when he came out of the private room, Tian Yongjin laughed out loud and immediately ordered his men to bring the white wolf over. What was strange was that white wolf's current cultivation had actually dropped to the early stages of the profound stage. However, his body didn't have any side effects of taking the drug. On the contrary, he was full of energy, and even his original injuries were healing quickly. Even if Tian Yongjin was a fool, he would still be able to guess that this was the effect of the mysterious energy filter he bought for 10,000 gold coins. A bottle of mysterious energy filter that could let a strange beast break through from the early stages of the profound level to the middle stages of the profound level in a short period of time. A bottle of mysterious energy filter that doesn't have any side effects after taking it. Instead, it can make one's mental state better. This kind of special mysterious energy filter was sold for 10,000 gold coins. It really wasn't expensive at all. No, not only was it not expensive, it was simply too cheap. Tian Yongjin waited patiently for another 16 hours. That's because the side effects of ordinary drafts would only take 16 hours at most. After 16 hours, that white wolf was still full of energy, and the internal force in his body was even more intense. Chapter 106. 16 hours later, that white wolf is still glowing with health and vigor, and the internal force within his body is even more intense. Tian Yongjin is simply ecstatic and immediately rushes over to Junji Drugstore. But he doesn't know that the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. After that Wang Jiaqin lost, he was extremely unreconciled, and went as far as to secretly tail him, following him. Now he still wants to compete with him for this one and only mysterious energy filter? After Wang Jiaqin taunts Tian Yongjin, He immediately looks at Chen Qingfeng. This special mysterious energy filter in your shop, I'll take it all. Whatever price this guy offers, I'll double it. Tian Yongjin grits his teeth. Fuck off. This bottle of mysterious energy filter is what this father saw first. Don't even think about snatching it. Isn't it just gold coins? Do you think this father doesn't have it? Tian Yongjin is so angry that he bursts out with profanity. He quickly fishes out a large bag of gold and throws it on the counter. Here's 80,000 gold coins. This little grandpa is taking the mysterious energy filter. He turns around to leave, but is stopped by Chen Qingfeng. Tian Daxiao, Wang Daxiao, the owner has ordered that the special mysterious energy filter will only be sold at a fixed price and will not be auctioned. Moreover, only one bottle will be provided every day, first come, first served. I ask for the two of you to forgive me. Chen Qingfeng respectfully conveys Mayan's instructions. His whole person is already close to a Spartan. God, forget about 10,000 gold coins, 40,000 gold coins, 80,000 gold coins. They're actually scrambling to buy it? This is just a mysterious energy filter. Could it be that the mysterious energy filter refined by Miss June is really that miraculous? Wang Jiaqin's complexion suddenly turns somewhat unsightly. There's money to be earned. Is there something wrong with your owner's head? Chen Qingfeng frowns, but still politely says, I'm sorry, this shop will definitely comply with the owner's instructions 100%. Tian Yongjin laughs heartily. At this moment, he's finally vented a bit of his anger from being followed by Wang Jiaqin. He waves the mysterious energy filter in his hand at Wang Jiaqin and proudly smiles. Sorry, first come, first served. Today this mysterious energy filter is this young master's. Saying that, Tian Yongjin swaggers away. Wang Jiaqin gritted his teeth, but he still suppressed his anger and looked at Chen Qingfeng. Then I can book it for tomorrow, right? This won't do either. Chen Qingfeng bit the bullet and said, Boss has stipulated that only one bottle of each medicine will be sold every day. No bargaining, no pre-orders, first come, first served. All right, good. I've never seen such a strange rule. Tomorrow, this young master must buy your so-called special mysterious energy filter. I'd like to see whether or not your boss's level of alchemy matches his bad temper. After that, Wang Jiaqin left with an ugly expression. Chen Qingfeng stood there in a daze for a long time. He looked down at the 40,000 gold coins on the counter and then at the empty shelf. With a bang, he stood up, quickly closed the door, and rushed to the backyard. How could he open a shop? A bottle of mysterious energy filter sold for 40,000 gold coins. 40,000 gold coins. This was equivalent to half a year's income of their shop. Oh, today's mysterious energy filter was also bought by someone? Mu Yan's expression is tranquil. So what if it's bought? Why are you so surprised? But Kiki, but that's mysterious energy filter, 40,000 gold coins, Miss June, what kind of magic does the mysterious energy filter that you refined have? Why is it sold at such an outrageous price, and they're still frantically snapping it up? Chapter 107. Chen Qingfeng was stunned. He didn't understand why the topic suddenly changed, but he didn't even think about it. He took the medicine and drank it in one gulp. A moment later, he suddenly felt a burning sensation in his dantian. Sit down and meditate. Hearing Mu Yan's voice, Chen Qingfeng didn't even think about it and immediately did as he was told. An hour slowly passed by. Chen Qingfeng opened his eyes and stared blankly in front of him. Suddenly, he jumped up from the ground. I broke through to profound stage early level. Miss June, I broke through to profound stage middle level. Yes, it's nothing to be surprised about. Mayan is holding a book in her hand. She lightly flips a page and leisurely says, This bottle of draft is called the filter of barrier breaking. It's used to break through bottlenecks, but it's only effective for practitioners below Earth stage. When Chen Qingfeng heard this, he was shocked and wanted to kneel down on the spot. Only when Mayan's threatening gaze sweeps over him does he stand shakily. But then he thinks that Mu Yan has actually refined a draft that can help him break through bottlenecks, and she even let him eat it so casually. He had the urge to pass out and see if he was dreaming. Mayan casually pulls out 2 bottles of drafts, with the words Mysterious Energy Filter and Filter of Barrier Breaking written on them. Add a bottle of Filter of Barrier Breaking to the drafts that will be sold tomorrow. Chun Qingfeng stupidly took it. Would you like to invite the young master over to roll the dice to set the price? No need. Mu Yin smiled faintly and said, Xiao Bao went out to play today, so let's just use yesterday's price. Chun Qingfeng asked, the mysterious energy filter is sold for 40,000 gold coins. Then how much is the filter of barrier breaking? For 400,000 gold coins? Mu Yin raises her eyebrows and glances at him, a smile that isn't a smile. Chun Qingfeng immediately straightened his back and said loudly, I know, the price of the filter of barrier breaking is 4 million gold coins. As soon as the words left his mouth, Chun Qingfeng felt even more dizzy. Heavens, 4 million gold coins. Even if his shop was multiplied by 10 times, it would still not be enough. However, he didn't think that the price was outrageous. Think about it, a draft that can help people break through bottlenecks. I've never even heard of it before. No matter how expensive it was, how could no one buy it? Chun Qingfeng hurriedly walks away. He has to make arrangements on how to introduce this new draft to Tian Xiao and Wang Xiao tomorrow. Mu Yin looked at his back, but couldn't help but smile and shake his head. If Xiaobao were here, he would probably call him an idiot again. Oh, but her baby had been out for a day. Why wasn't he back yet? Outside Xi'an, in a remote kernel. This place was desolate and uninhabited, and even birds and beasts rarely passed by. Suddenly, white light shone brightly in the kernel. For some reason, rolling thunder clouds suddenly appeared in the clear blue sky. It was as if the entire sky was about to collapse. However, this situation only lasted for about 10 minutes. The thunderclouds came and went quickly dispersing. The sky was still clear and bright. At the place where the white light flashed, 2 tall figures appeared. The moment these 2 figures appeared, in the forest not far from the call, tens of thousands of beasts galloped, as if they wanted to rush out, but also as if they were afraid and wanted to escape. High up in the sky, countless birds formed their original forms, circling and fluttering, letting out cries. Their cries seemed to be welcoming, but if one listened carefully, it would carry a deep sense of awe. Chapter 108. Deming Ju doesn't respond to Han Ye's words, nor does he pay attention to the vision of heaven and earth. He goes straight towards Xian. As he walks, his brows furrow fiercely. Damn it! Because his real body has descended to the Yinwu continent, his cultivation has been suppressed to the limit that this continent can bear. So much so that he can't even teleport and fly. Otherwise, he could appear in front of Mu Yin in a flash. He doesn't know if that little woman would be surprised to see him. Would she throw herself into his arms? Thinking of this, Deming Ju's ears slightly redden, and his pace quickens. If Han Yi were to hear his Jun Shang's thoughts, he would definitely vomit 3 liters of blood. Jun Shang, where do you get the confidence to think that Miss June would throw herself into your arms? It's already good enough that she doesn't send you flying with a kick. The 2 of them walk extremely fast. Even though they're both walking, it's as if they're flying. In just a short moment, they've already entered Xi'an. Because he gave Mu Yin a kiss of vow, Deming Ju quickly determines Mu Yan's position. He's about to rush over at top speed, but Han Yi stops him. Cough. Jun Shang, you're not going directly to Miss June, are you? Hearing that, Deming Ju impatiently shoots Han Yi a glance. His eyes were cold and gloomy, clearly saying, are you an idiot? Ben June came to the lower realm to find that woman. If I don't go directly to her, should I still be playing around in this spiritual energy barren place? Being looked at by his Jun Shang with such a look of disgust, 10,000 grass mud horses gallop through Han Ye's mind. He makes a bitter face and lightly coughs once again. Jun Shang. This subordinate heard that in the Yinwu continent, there is a rule that if a man wants to pursue a woman, then he must give her a gift. Especially after a long separation, when visiting for the first time, he would prepare a generous gift for the other party and their family. This can increase the other party's favorable impression of you. Deming Ju's handsome face stiffens, and he coldly says, Benju needs to increase the favorable impression? No need, no need. Han Yi immediately praises, Jun Shang, you're extraordinarily handsome, brilliant, and powerful. There's no woman in the world who wouldn't like you and wouldn't want to throw herself into your arms. Give what? Han Yi hasn't finished speaking when his master's cold inquiry is suddenly heard. His voice stops abruptly, and he dumbly looks over. Deming Ju impatiently says, Jun Shang Jun, what should I give to that woman? Humph. He's not trying to please that little woman. It's just that since she's destined to be his, Deming Ju's, wife, what's the harm in spoiling her in advance? Han Yi abruptly comes back to his senses. He looks around and points at a jewelry store not too far away. Jun Shang, why don't we go there and take a look and pick a gift? Things from the Xiaoxian continent can't be brought to the Yinwu continent, otherwise, it would destroy the balance of the Yinwu continent. That's why Deming Ju and Han Yi are alone this time. Even their clothes are the most ordinary. Only Han Yi carries some gold and silver pearls that don't have any spiritual power. In the Xiaoxian continent, no one would pick them up even if they were to be thrown on the ground. Ming and Tu, Jin and An and Ming Ju, and Yi. As Di approaches, Ju he. This to him. And Dao. Di Ming Ji Ming Ming. He K Ming Ju is Ming shop. Chapter 109. Wouldn't he, Di Ming Ju, lose face by giving away this kind of vulgar object? Thinking of this, Di Ming Ju coldly glares at Han Yi. Han Yi expresses that he really feels wronged. The Yinwu continent's enchantment is too weak, and its endurance is too poor. He can't bring down the treasures of the Xiaoxian continent. Can he be blamed for this? Jun Shang, take a look over there. I see that the jewelry over there isn't bad, barely worthy of Miss Mayan. Deming Ju looks over and sees an exquisite glass cabinet in a corner of the huge shop. There are only a few pieces of jewelry in the cabinet. It really looks a bit better than those vulgar objects outside. Deming Ju's eyes brighten when he sees a white jade hairpin. This white jade hairpin is sparkling and translucent. Under the light, the chalcedony inside seems to be gurgling and flowing. The most amazing thing is the hairpin that's made into the shape of a phoenix's tail. There's obviously no other color embellishment, but the white jade carving gives people a sense of elegance and grace. Humph. Only this jade hairpin is barely worthy of his woman. Deming Ju quickly walks to the glass cabinet, his slender fingers lightly pressing on the glass. That glass instantly turns into fine powder. The white jade hairpin is revealed, appearing even more radiant and vibrant, extraordinarily noble. Deming Ju reaches out to grab the white jade hairpin. Just as he's about to pick it up, he suddenly feels a heavy force on his hand. He sees that the other end of the jade hairpin is caught by a fair and tender little hand. Deming Ju frowns. He hates it the most when his things are touched by others. Of course, Mayan is an exception. But when he looks up and sees the person in front of him, he stares blankly for a moment. Standing in front of him, the one holding the white jade hairpin is a little boy of only 4 or 5 years old. A small pink face, delicate and handsome features, indescribably cute like snow jade. But the most attractive thing is that pair of ice blue eyes. Although there are no fluctuations of emotion on his face or in his eyes, those big eyes seem to reflect the brilliance of the sun, moon, and stars, making people unconsciously attracted. When Deming Ju sees the child in front of him, he stares blankly for a full 3 breaths. His heart is inexplicably throbbing with a strange emotion. He clearly hates it the most when other people touch his things. In his eyes, the mortals of the Yinwu continent, except for Mayan, are no different from ants. He doesn't even bother to look at them. But for some reason, he couldn't bring himself to kill the little boy in front of him. At this moment, the little boy's cold voice sounded, "Let go." After saying that, he exerted force in his hand, intending to snatch the white jade hairpin away. But how could Deming Ju let others take away his things? His face sinks, and the inexplicable emotions in his heart are dispelled in a flash. He narrowed his eyes and said coldly, "Little guy, I saw this first. I saw it first." What responded him was a cold, childish voice. "You stole my stuff, shameless." On the side, Han Yi inhales a mouthful of cold air, his complexion turning green and white. Heavens, does this kid want to die? They actually dared to call their Jun Shang shameless? Mingju's eyes are already emitting a dense cold light. An invisible pressure is unconsciously released. If you have the guts, say it again. The terrifying pressure instantly froze the air in the shop. The boss and the guests in the treasure pavilion are also startled. Some people scramble to escape. Some people shiver and hide under the table. Even Hanye's eyes are aghast. Chapter 110. But strangely, the little boy who bears the brunt of Mingju's pressure seems to feel nothing. He glares at Mingju without flinching, saying word by word, "Shameless. This is mine." As he spoke, he pulled back forcefully. With a clatter, the jade hairpins in their hands broke into two. Both of them looked at the remaining half of the jade stone in their hands. Both of them were clearly more handsome than the other, but their expressions were more terrifying than the other. Just a moment ago, it was only Mingju who released his frightening pressure. Now, even the little boy's body has a frightening momentum that surges out like a tide. The customers and the boss were so scared that they almost peed their pants. Hanye, on the other hand, is incredibly shocked and incredulous. Who was this little boy? How could she compete with his family's Junshang in terms of coercion and momentum? One must know that his family's Junshang's cultivation level was extremely high. Once the emperor became angry, thousands of miles would kneel. Even in the Xiuxian continent, under the Junshang's anger, everyone could only tremble. Even if he's currently suppressing 90% of his strength, this is the Yinwu continent. This little boy can't even cultivate his spiritual power. But how could he directly contend with his Junshang? Could it be that he was dreaming? The boy in the treasure pavilion was none other than Little Treasure. In the past, when he was still living in the Nameless Valley, Xiaobao would often go out of the mountain alone and accept some secret transactions. He didn't need to show his face in mercenary missions, and the money he earned would be used to buy things for Mu Yin. Therefore, the golden leaves in his hands were truly earned by him, and not given to him by Mu Yin. Today, he came out because he saw Qin Qingfeng giving Grandma Chen a gift. Only then did he remember that he hadn't bought a gift for his mother for a long time. Only then did he run out to stroll around the streets. It wasn't easy for him to find a white jade hairpin in the treasure house. He felt that it was barely worthy of his mother. He wanted to buy it, but he didn't expect that a shameless man would come out and compete with him. "You broke my mother's things. You have to pay." Xiao Bao frowns, glaring fiercely at Mingju. Mingju grinds his teeth. "Little guy, this is mine. Mine." The two of them refused to give in to each other, and the invisible pressure emanating from their bodies grew stronger and stronger. Even the entire shop started to shake slightly, and dust fell from the roof beams. "Sir, please be merciful. Please be merciful." Seeing that he was about to lose his shop, the boss no longer cared about his fear. He crawled over and wailed, "Sir, young master, please calm down. Please calm down. Do you want to buy this white jade phoenix tail hairpin? There are more in the store. I guarantee that it's even more beautiful than the phoenix tail white jade hairpin. Don't fight anymore. If this goes on, I won't be able to keep my shop." As he said this, the boss scrambled to the bottom of the counter where his handprint was and took out the two brocade boxes. When he opened the brocade box, he saw that it was not the white jade phoenix tail hairpin. Instead, it was a bracelet and a pair of earrings. Although it wasn't the phoenix tail white jade hairpin, the jade bracelet and earrings were of the same quality. Moreover, the workmanship was even more complicated and precise. Under the illumination of the light, it appeared even more otherworldly. "Humph, you're barely worthy of my mother." Xiaobao thought for a moment, then tiptoed and took the dragon and phoenix white jade earrings. "Humph, you're barely worthy of Ben Jun's woman." Mingju thought for a while, then with a wave of his hand, he put the dragon and phoenix white jade bracelet into his sleeve. Chapter 111. The boss wipes the sweat from his forehead and takes a deep breath, rejoicing at the fact that he has survived a disaster. Hanyi steps forward and throws out a sparkling and translucent sapphire. "This should be enough to exchange for these 3 white jade jewelry, right?" The boss looks at the quality of the sapphire and immediately smiles. "It's enough. It's enough." Although these 3 white jade jewelry are exquisite and beautiful, Sapphire is something that can only be found by chance and not sought. Such a large piece can be carved into many different shapes. Let alone 3 pieces, even adding 3 more wouldn't be a problem. Han Yi smiles at Xiao Bao. This little Gongzi, what happened just now was purely an accident. As an apology, we'll pay for your white jade earrings. Di Mingju coldly snorts, his complexion unkind, but he doesn't stop him. Who would have thought that Xiao Bao wouldn't appreciate it at all? He fishes out 2 gold leaves from his bosom, jumps on a chair, and throws them in front of the boss. Keep the change. The boss goes, unable to contain his joy. Just now, he thought that he was out of luck, but who knew that he would actually take advantage of it? Xiao Bao drops the gold leaves, then coldly glares at Di Mingju. Only then does he jump off the chair and leave. Di Mingju watches the little bean sprout's figure go far away. He slightly narrows his eyes, and only after a long while does he say, "Let's go." The boss holds the sapphire and gold leaves in his hands and caresses them, smiling so much that his face can't be seen. Suddenly, his complexion changes. He looks up in panic, wanting to call Di Mingju and Xiao Bao to come back. However, when he looks outside the door, the figures of those 3 people are nowhere to be seen. The boss immediately frowns, revealing a guilty and ashamed expression. Oh no, I was too scared and happy just now that I actually forgot to tell the 2 honored guests one thing. The great master who originally made this pair of white jade dragon and phoenix jewelry once said, the white jade earrings are carved with a phoenix, and the white jade bracelet is carved with a dragon. The dragon and phoenix must be worn on the same body, to bring out the harmony of the zither and the harp, and the meaning of peace and happiness. If they were separated, it would represent the parting of labor and the parting of birds. This is also the reason why the boss didn't casually put this pair of dragon and phoenix jewelry up for sale. These 2 honored guests gave him so much money, but he didn't tell them such important information. It's really hard for his conscience. Young master, you're back. Chun Qingfeng was happily calculating the income and expenses of the shop when he saw a small figure walk in from the door. Little Bao paid no attention to him and walked directly into the rear courtyard, and his handsome little face was tense from the beginning until the end. Chun Qingfeng couldn't help but shiver. Although Xiao Bao was usually like a little adult, the aura he emitted was more frightening than that of a high-level ancient martial art practitioner. But for some unknown reason, Chen Qingfeng felt that Little Bao made him feel even more fearful today, and he felt even more afraid to get close to him. Xiao Bao passed through the backyard and soon saw Mu Yin, who was lying on a rattan chair and reading a book. The moment he sees Mayan, the curve of his taut little face softens a little. He quickly goes to Mu Yan's side, and with a few steps, he climbs up the rattan chair in a very practiced manner and snuggles into Mu Yan's arms. Mu Yan hadn't seen her son for a long time today, so she missed him very much. Seeing that he was still sticking to her when he came back, she immediately hugged him and kissed him. "Baby, did you have fun outside today?" Little Bao shook his head with a taut face. "I'm not happy." Chapter 112. Xiao Bao flattens his small mouth, hugs Mayan, and rubs his little head against her chest. Nyang Qin. Xiao Bao wants to become stronger, to protect Nyang Qin. The little childish voice is muffled, carrying a trace of unwillingness. He knows that the man he met today is very strong, and he's completely not his opponent. If that man insists on competing with him for Nyang Qin's gift, he can only return empty-handed today. Today, he's only competing for the white jade phoenix tail hairpin, but what if one day, there's a bad guy as strong as that man who comes to compete with him for Nyang Qin? He doesn't want to give Nyang Qin to someone else. Moreover, he can't beat that man. It must be because he's still young. As long as he grows up quickly, he'll definitely be more powerful than that man. Mayan sees him sullenly acting like a spoiled child and indignantly swearing an oath, and finds it somewhat funny. She strokes his little head and says, "Xiao Bao is already very powerful. When Xiao Bao grows up, he'll definitely be even more powerful. At that time, Xiao Bao will have to protect Nyang Qin." Xiao Bao solemnly nods. Then he remembers something and straightens up his little body. A white and tender little hand covers Mayan's eyes. The little face is still ice cold, but the deep blue eyes are sparkling. "Nyang Qin, close your eyes first." When her baby son does this, Maya knows that he's going to give her a gift. She obediently closes her eyes. After a moment, she hears the little childish voice say, "You can open them now." As soon as Mayan opens her eyes, she sees her son's little hand holding a pile of earrings with white jade pendants. Although they're only two very small earrings, the phoenix carvings at the bottom are extremely exquisite and beautiful. She picks one up and gently shakes it, as if the white jade phoenix is about to spread its wings and soar. Xiaobao looks at her with a pair of big watery eyes. His voice is still ice cold, but it carries a trace of soft expectation. "Nyangqin, do you like it?" I like it. Nyangqin likes it so much." Mayan hugs her son and kisses him, letting him help her put it on. Holding her son, she walks to the water's edge. Looking at the reflection of the two in the water, their similar facial features and snuggling figures, Xiao Bao's cold brows are tinged with a gentle smile. Mayan and her mother are enjoying their sweet and happy family time. Suddenly, the deafening sound of gongs and drums, as well as the clamor, came from outside. Just as Mayan is feeling strange, she sees Ani Chen hurriedly walking over, her face full of worry as she says, "Miss June, there's a group of people outside who claim to be from Jianwangfu looking for you." Jianwangfu? Mayan raises her eyebrows. Ani Chen glances at Xiao Bao, wanting to say something, but then hesitates. "They said that Jianwangya of Huangyao country has taken a fancy to you, and wants to take you as a side fei." Mu Yin doesn't have the time to react. Next to her, Xiao Bao's little body was already stretched taut, and his snow-white face suddenly radiated an intense killing intent. Mu Yin comes back to her senses and gently rubs her son's head. She says with a smile that isn't a smile, "What's going on this year? Every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants me to be a side fei. Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself?" Xiao Bao nodded heavily and clenched his fists tightly. A bunch of stupid mortals. They're not even fit to carry mother's shoes. If it wasn't for Ani Chen's presence, his terrifying aura would have been unleashed. Chapter 113. Moreover, his natural disposition is dissolute, and he likes to collect all kinds of beautiful women the most. I heard that there are already no less than 100 concubines in Jianwangfu, and many of them were forcibly seized by him. Unfortunately, he relies on the protection of the Emperor of Huangyao, so no one dares to provoke him. Even in Huangyao, this Jin Wangye is so arrogant and despotic. What more in their inferior Qi Yin country? Mayan is merely a weak woman, and she even has a young child with her. How could she contend against such a force? "Miss June, I've already instructed Feng to delay them first. You should quickly escape from the back door. In any case, you can't be defiled by this kind of beast." Saying that, she pushes Mayan and Xiao Bao towards the back door with all her might. But even though she's already exerting all her strength, Mayan and Xiao Bao don't budge an inch. Mayan sighs softly and straightens Aunt Chin's tilted body. She softly says, "If we leave, what will happen to you and Qin Qingfeng? What about this pharmacy? Aunt, have you thought about it?" There's no time to think too much. Aunt Chun grits her teeth. "You are our Chun family's savior. In any case, Feng and I can't watch you enter the fire pit." Mayan hooks her lips into a smile, charming by nature, but also radiating a cold light. "We still don't know who the one who has truly entered the fire pit is. Aunt, just have a good sleep here. When you wake up, everything will be as it was before." As soon as her voice falls, Aunt Chin's body sways, and she faints. Mayan puts her on the rattan chair that she had been lying on, and leads Xiao Bao out. As soon as they enter the shop in the front yard, they see that the originally empty shop is now filled with boxes. There are also several people dressed in festive clothes, holding suona, gongs, and drums as they stand outside. They were the ones who made the ruckus just now. Apart from the anxious and tongue-tied Qin Qingfeng, there's also an old man standing in the shop. This old man looks to be in his 50s or 60s, with grizzled hair and decent clothes. There's a lofty and arrogant air on his face, especially when he sweeps his eyes over Qin Qingfeng and the shabby goods in the shop. His face is full of contempt. Just as Mayan appears, Qin Qingfeng immediately exclaims, "Miss June, you? Why are you here? Shouldn't you have already?" Mu Yin lightly patted his shoulder, signaling him to calm down. then looked at the old man. The old man squinted at her for a moment, and a hint of surprise flashed across his eyes. She inwardly says that even in Jin Wangfu, where beauties are as common as clouds, she has never seen such an outstanding and good appearance. No wonder His Highness couldn't forget about this fox after he came back. He even told her to use the etiquette of a side fae to welcome her in. Humph. So what if she was beautiful? She's just a lowly woman from a low-ranked country. How could she be worthy of the position of side fae in Jin Wangfu? Thinking of this, the amazement in the old man's eyes turns into contempt. You are Miss Jun Mayan. I am steward son of Jin Wangfu in Huangyao country. After saying that, he paused for a moment. He waits for Mayan to reveal an expression of amazement, envy, and yearning. After all, how many people from low-class countries yearn to become citizens of high-class countries through their own talent and hard work? But who would have thought that there wouldn't be the slightest change in expression on the young girl's bright and moving face? Even those beautiful eyes seemed to not put him in their eyes at all. Oh, and then, the clear and sweet-sounding voice is filled with indifference. Chapter 114. A trace of anger flashed across Steward Sun's face, but he endured it in the end. He slightly raises his chin, and with a haughty expression, he says, "Today, I represent our Jin Wangya to welcome Miss as a bride. The bridal sedan, the betrothal gifts, and the matchmaker, they're all outside. As long as the young lady gets on the bridal sedan, henceforth, she'll be a side consort of Jin Wangfu, and also a citizen of Huangyao. Miss, please." After saying that, he turns to the side, waiting for Mayan to excitedly run to the sedan chair. Before coming here, he had already investigated Jun Mayan's identity. She's an orphan girl with no background at all. When she first came to Xi'an, she only bought a small pharmacy. As for her cultivation, Wangya said that this woman was hiding her strength, but Steward Sun, a high-level Earth stage warrior, could not see any surge of Xian Qi in this woman. This only proved that this woman did not have any cultivation at all, not even any profound Qi fluctuations. For such a powerless orphan girl to be able to gain the favor of His Highness, they should really burn incense and celebrate. However, Steward Sun stood sideways for a long time, but the shop was silent. There was not the slightest movement. He raised his head in shock and saw the young girl and the handsome boy not far away looking at him as if they were looking at an idiot. That's right. The look in her eyes was as if she was treating him as an idiot. The anger in Steward Sun's heart finally surges up. Miss June, don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. Do you know that our Jin Wangya? Before Steward Sun could finish speaking, he's interrupted by a sharp and urgent voice. Oh, I say, this girl. Don't tell me that you don't even know the illustrious and famous Jin Wangya in Huangyao? She saw a fat figure rush in from the door like a gust of wind, and suddenly rushed in front of Mu Yin. She starts to shout with her spittle flying everywhere. I'm telling you, I, Matchmaker Huang, have been a matchmaker for so many times, but I've never seen a man with conditions as good as Jin Wangya's. Not to mention that he was handsome and elegant. His cultivation base was unparalleled in this small red flame country. Not to mention, Jin Wangya is the younger blood brother of the current emperor of Huangyao. With great power in his hands, he really wouldn't be able to find a good husband even with a lantern. So what if she was a side concubine? As long as Wangya dotes on you and gives birth to a son or daughter in the future, won't you be able to enjoy the good fortune of the rest of your life? Mayan expressionlessly takes a step back with Xiao Bao, avoiding the flying spit. He said coldly, "Yin Hao Yin, throw him out." As soon as she said that, a tall figure appeared out of nowhere and grabbed Matchmaker Huang's collar. You, what are you doing? I, Matchmaker Huang, am famous in the surrounding area. Even the marriage of the city lord was arranged by me. If you dare touch me, ouch. Yin Hao Yin swung his arm and threw her out. Matchmaker Huang was sent flying dozens of meters away. She fell to the ground and did not get up again. Seeing the tower-like brawny man standing guard by Mu Yan's side without saying a word, Steward Sun's expression becomes somewhat grave. He could tell at a glance that this man with a face full of scars was not old, but he was already at the beginning of the Earth stage. He was only 2 small realms away from him. Steward's son suspiciously looked at Yin Haoyan, then looked at Mu Yin. Seeing Yin Haoyan's appearance of a servant guarding his master, he is secretly shocked. Chapter 115. Steward's son's eyes turn, and he slightly cups his hands in greeting. Miss June, that matchmaker Huang has offended you just now. I ask Miss to not take offense. Today, I have come to sincerely represent Wang Ye to welcome Miss as a side consort of Jin Wangfu. A few days ago, our Wang Ye had a chance encounter with Miss on the street. Since then, our Wang Ye has fallen in love with Miss at first sight. He specifically had his subordinates prepare generous gifts to ask for Miss' hand in marriage. Wang Ye's heart towards Miss, that is truly the proof of the sun and the moon. As he speaks, Steward's son waves his hand. The guards standing outside the door immediately come and carrying boxes of betrothal gifts. The boxes are opened, revealing silk, cloth, gold, and jewelry stuffed to the brim inside. The common people of Xiaoan, who have been attracted by the commotion, all suck in a mouthful of cold air when they see the treasures in the cages. It's just marrying a side consort. This Jin Wangya's generosity is too great. These betrothal gifts are worth at least tens of millions of gold coins, right? That's the most favored Wangya of the high-class Wangyao country. Isn't this kind of generosity a matter of course? If I may say it, this girl is really lucky to actually be fancied by such a great character like Jin Wangya. The chattering sounds of discussion come in from outside, making Steward's son's complexion improve a lot. That old face once again raises a trace of arrogance and contentment. He raises his hand in the direction of the betrothal gifts and asks, Wang Ye has never failed to get the woman he wants. Is it to accept the betrothal gifts and henceforth become a superior person? Or is it to be stubborn and be wanted by our Jin Wangfu? Miss June is so intelligent. Surely you should know what to choose? When he says this, Steward's son is full of confidence. He feels that Mayan will certainly agree. Mayan's mouth raises into a lazy smile, and she slowly strolls to the front of the betrothal gifts. Her fingers grab the jewels on it, and she gently caresses them. Then, she slowly says, the quality is really good. Since you've delivered it to my door, then I'll reluctantly accept it. So, Miss June is willing to become our Wang Ye's side consort? Steward's son's face shows a knowing smile. Then please get on the sedan as soon as possible. Mississippi Mu Yin doesn't pay attention to him. Instead, she says to Yin Haoyan, move all these things to my wing room in the backyard. Yin Haoyan was silent. He immediately stepped forward and carried a large box to the backyard. After going back and forth a few times, all the boxes in the pharmacy were empty. Steward's son and the guards of Jin Wangfu are somewhat unable to come back to their senses. For a moment, no one stops them. Steward's son didn't react until all the betrothal gifts had been moved out. His expression turned ugly and disdainful. Who would have thought that this Miss June, who appeared to be refined with a peerless elegance, would actually be so petty, unable to be shown in public? Miss June, you should be able to board the sedan chair now, right? Mayan smiles sweetly, incomparably bright and beautiful. Who said that I'm willing to become the bullshit Jin Wang side consort? Housekeeper's son stared blankly for a moment before his expression darkened. Miss June, what do you mean by that? You've already accepted the betrothal gifts. Don't tell me you want to go back on your word now? Mu Yin says unhurriedly, what I just received was compensation for disturbing my shop's business. Who said it was a betrothal gift? Now we're even. Everyone, please go back. Steward's son's complexion turns green and white, his eyes almost spurting fire. Such great courage, even daring to swindle the people of our Jin Wangfu. Come, tie this slut up for me and stuff her into the sedan chair. Today, you have to marry, even if you don't want to. An insignificant lowly commoner really thinks that she can overturn the heavens. You dare. Just as Steward's son's voice fell, two voices ring out at the same time. One comes from Mu Yan's side, tender and crisp, but as cold as frost. Chapter 116. In a split second, the noisy surroundings of the shop become silent. Everyone's eyes are cast in the direction of the door. They see a tall and handsome man dressed in a black, narrow-sleeved official robe. Especially that face, long eyebrows reaching his temples, blue eyes like an abyss, exquisite facial features, as if they were meticulously sculpted from heaven and earth. As he slowly walks into the shop, everyone, whether men or women, can't help but hold their breaths. Amazement and awe, obsession and fear, desire and panic, completely different contradictory emotions churn at the bottom of everyone's hearts. This man, he has that kind of magical power. He is the ruler of the world, a supreme existence that stands high above all mortals. Everyone who sees him wishes they could kneel and crawl on the ground. But the moment Mu Yin sees this person, she can't help but curse in her heart. This lunatic, how come he's here again? That's right, the person who has come is someone that Mu Yin has only met twice. Dimingju, who has already eaten her tofu twice. Since Mu Yan's rebirth, she has always been carefree, free, and easy. No one has ever been able to force her to do something she doesn't like. But in the hands of this man, she has already stumbled twice. She has actually been taken advantage of by this pervert twice. She originally thought that this man wouldn't come back after he left last time. She didn't expect that he would appear in front of her again. Moreover, Mu Yin can see that this time, his figure is illusory, and there's no reflection. This time, the pressure on Di Mingju's body seems to have weakened a lot, but his figure is solid. Moreover, the dangerous aura emitted from his body only increases. The closer he gets, the more Mu Yan's breathing becomes uncontrollably disorderly. The person who has come is naturally Di Mingju, who has gone one round around Xiaolan, but still hasn't managed to buy a satisfactory betrothal gift. After he roars out those words, there's only Mu Yin left in his eyes. Everyone else around him is just like ants. He doesn't put them in his eyes at all. Seeing the girl's bright and beautiful face once again, Di Mingju knows how much he misses this woman. He has cultivated for thousands of years, and his status is supreme. He gets wind if he wants wind, rain if he wants rain, but this is the first time he knows the taste of deep sorrow. Just one day without seeing her, and he can't sit still. This time, in order to complete the transmission array, he won't be able to see this little woman for 10 days. In the beginning, Elder Chong and the others advised him to think thrice before acting, and not rashly come to the Yanwu continent. But after being ruthlessly tortured by Di Mingju's insatiable desire, these people really wish that they could immediately pack up their Junshang and send him down. During this period, they still had to pray that the Lady of Destiny would do a good deed and submit to their lord. Otherwise, all of them would definitely be tortured by their lord until they wished they were dead. Di Mingju step by step towards Mu Yin. There is a fire. But before he can get close to Mu Yin, Steward Sun has already recovered. He ignores the instinctive fear he has towards this man and immediately scowls and scowls. He angrily shouts, "Audacious, unruly commoner. You actually dare to obstruct Jin Wangfu's business. I think you're tired of living." Ming, he, June. Chapter 117. Han Yi, who has just entered the shop, staggers and almost falls to the ground. He looks at that steward's son, not as if he's looking at an idiot, but as if he's looking at a pile of shit. Sure enough, Di Mingju stops walking towards Mu Yin and coldly looks at Steward Sunday. When Steward Sun is looked at by those eyes, he doesn't know why, but he unexpectedly shudders, his voice stuttering. I'm warning you. I'm a person of Huangyao country's Jin Wangfu. If you offend our Jin Wangfu, you..." Before he could finish his words, Steward Sun's body suddenly flies forward involuntarily. The next moment, his throat is already firmly gripped. Say it again. Who wants to marry Mu Yin? Under the 5 fingers, his throat makes a cracking sound. Steward Sun's face swells purple and red, tears and snot flowing out. Jin Wangya. It's our Huangyao country's Jin Wangya. Huangyao country's emperor's younger brother. With a snapping sound, Steward Sun's neck is broken, and he weakly falls to the ground. That's a high Earth stage practitioner A. Just like this, without the slightest ability to resist, his neck is broken. The guards of Jin Wangfu are stunned. Immediately after, some people want to escape, while others roar and attack Di Mingju. Han Yi sneers, his figure flashes and turns into an afterimage, quickly shuttling back and forth between the guards of Jin Wangfu. In just a few short breaths, all the guards have fallen to the ground. The bones in their bodies are broken inch by inch. Their eyes are wide open, but they've already stopped breathing. There's a deathly silence in the audience. There's a look of horror on everyone's face. Even Mu Yin slightly tightens her brows, her expression dignified. The hands hanging by her side are suddenly clenched. Mu Yin looks down and sees that Xiao Bao is staring fixedly at Di Mingju. His eyes are full of alertness and vigilance, as well as a trace of imperceptible frustration. As soon as Di Mingju appeared, Xiao Bao recognized that this man is the one who fought with him over the white jade hairpin in the treasure pavilion. He also recognized that this man is the scoundrel who wanted to bully Nyang Qin and Jin Hongmin. From the beginning, Xiao Bao knew that this person is stronger than him, but he didn't expect that he's that much stronger. Even the subordinates by his side were no match for him. He's so weak. How can he protect his mother? For the first time, a desolate and unwilling expression appeared on his cold and handsome face. His hands, which were hanging by his side, were tightly clenched into fists. After tidying up the unsightly things, Di Mingju goes in front of Mayan by himself. Suppressing his anger that is about to erupt, he growls. Bin Jun has only left for a few days. How can you accept other people's betrothal gifts? Although his voice was very loud, there was a trace of indistinct grievance in his tone. Mu Yin was speechless. Hey. Why do you make it sound like I'm a heartless man? If I remember correctly, I have nothing to do with you, right? Not waiting for Mayan to react, Di Mingju has already grabbed her jade-like wrist and put a white jade bracelet on it. Although his cultivation was suppressed, he could still use a portion of his powerful divine sense. With a sweep of her divine sense, she knows just how expensive and complicated the Jin Wangfu's betrothal gifts that Mayan has moved to the backyard are. However, he only had a white jade bracelet that was so shabby that he could not even take it out. Di Mingju's ears redden. His heart is about to vomit to death. Chapter 118. Mayan stares blankly for a moment, unable to react in time. She actually lets Di Mingju put the white jade bracelet on her hand. She frowned and said in a distant tone, I don't deserve a reward without doing anything. I don't know you at all, so there's no need for a gift. After saying that, she was about to remove the white jade bracelet from her wrist. Di Mingju simply can't believe his ears. Mu Yin accepted that wild man's betrothal gift, but refused to accept his gift. His face was so gloomy that it could drip water, and his voice unknowingly carried a trace of killing intent. You're not allowed to take it down. This lord wants you to wear it, so wear it. Mayan still hasn't reacted when a small hand, mixed with a monstrous internal force, ruthlessly slaps towards Di Mingju. Don't bully my mother. The small figure strides forward, blocking Mayan's path, and fiercely glares at Di Mingju. Di Mingju sees the familiar little face in front of him, but stares blankly. It's you. It was actually the little bean who fought with him over the white jade phoenix tail hairpin in the treasure pavilion. Wait, what did the little bean just call Mu Yin? Xiao Bao turns around and hugs Mu Yan's thigh. With a blank face, he says, Nyang Qin, he's a bad person. Don't be fooled by him. Don't think that he can't see that this shameless scoundrel wants to molest and take away his mother. Mother belongs to Xiao Bao alone. He won't let this scoundrel snatch her away. Mu Yin stooped down and picked up her son. She narrowed her eyes and asked, Baby, did he bully you? Xiao Bao nodded expressionlessly. Mayan's expression immediately becomes somewhat dangerous, coldly looking at Di Mingju. Anyone who dared to bully her precious son deserved to die 1,000 times over. Di Mingju unwaveringly glares at Mu Yin and Xiao Bao. The expression on those two similar faces is almost distorted. Who are you calling Nyang Qin? Han Yi has never seen such a frightening expression on his master's face, and he can't help but shiver. Then he hurriedly laughed and said, Miss June, this is your adopted child, right? That's right. She must have been adopted. Miss June is really kind. Before he could finish, he was interrupted by Mu Yin with a sneer. I'm so sorry. My darling was born after 10 months of pregnancy. He is the most important treasure in my world. Xiao Bao's big eyes immediately brighten up like stars. He wraps his arms around Mu Yan's neck, and the corners of his mouth rise in a small arc. The panic, desolation, and uneasiness that filled his heart just now disappeared without a trace at this moment. In the whole world, he was the one that his mother loved the most. She wouldn't be taken away from him. Thinking up to here, he even rubs Mayan's face, then looks provocatively at Di Mingju and Han Yi. Han Yi, on the other hand, has an alarmed look on his face, and his body begins to tremble. No, you're not joking, right? Miss June, don't play with me. You're so young. How could you be a biological child? Mayan's smile is leisurely and playful, but before she can reply, she hears Di Mingju's cold voice. Who is that man? That voice seemed to come out from between his lips and teeth, word by word. Han Yi takes a look at Jun Shang's complexion and only feels that this time, it's really over. The sky of the three realms is about to collapse. When he was in the Xiaoxian continent, he saw with his own eyes how much Jun Shang cares about and crazily misses Miss June. Every moment, he longs to quickly come to the Yinwu continent and reunite with Miss June. Chapter 119. Min? Mu Yin stares blankly, then the smile at the corner of her mouth becomes even more enchanting and deep. Oh, you mean the biological father of my precious son? Why are you looking for him? The anger that Di Mingju has been suppressing all this time has finally been thoroughly stimulated by the words my precious son's biological father. He suddenly takes a step forward and approaches Mu Yin. Tell me, where is that man? I'm going to kill him right now. Mayan, June Mayan. This woman is mine. She belongs to me alone. But why couldn't he come to the Yinwu continent earlier? Why didn't I meet her earlier? In Di Mingju's heart, it's as if there's a pot of boiling oil, and as if there's ice condensing. His eyes redden a little, and he reaches out to caress Mayan's face. Whoosh! A swift and fierce palm wind swept over. Yin Haoyin is afraid that he will harm Mayan, so he makes his move without hesitation. However, before his palm, which was condensed with 100% of his power, could reach within a meter of the man, his entire body was sent flying. At this very moment, the pressure and murderous aura emanating from Di Mingju's body can simply make anyone in this world tremble in fear. Even Mu Yin, being stared at by that pair of eyes, is unable to suppress the trembling of her body. But just when everyone thinks that Di Mingju is about to explode, Di Mingju suddenly turns around with red eyes. In the blink of an eye, he was already hundreds of feet away from the medicine shop. But no matter how one looked at that back view, it was bleak and lonely. My lord. Han Yi stares blankly. He looks in the direction that Di Mingju has gone. Then he looks at Mu Yin and Xiao Bao. Gritting his teeth, he promptly follows. Mu Yin, on the other hand, was a little dumbfounded. She and Xiao Bao looked at each other, unable to react for a moment. Xiao Bao glanced at the door and suddenly hugged Mu Yin. There was a trace of confusion on his cold and handsome little face. When Di Mingju approached just now, he really thought that the man wanted to hurt Nyangqin. However, even though the man's aura was so terrifying, he didn't even touch her mother. Moreover, when he turned around, Xiao Bao saw that the man's eyes were red. His expression was not one of terror, but of sadness and pain. He looked a little pitiful. Xiao Bao wrinkled his little nose and felt that he was acting too strangely. That shameless man covets her mother. Why would she feel pity for him? Nyangqin, Xiao Bao hugs Mu Yan's neck and asks in a low voice, Nyangqin, will that person appear again? Mu Yin stares blankly for a moment before replying, probably not. That man called Di Mingju, at first glance, one can tell that he's an aloof and remote person, someone who can't be violated, someone who can't be disobeyed. He had his pride and self-respect, knowing that he was a married woman with a child. He probably wouldn't appear in front of her again, right? From now on, we will never meet again. Outside Xi'an City. Junshang, what are your plans? Han Yi looks at the man's stern back in front of him and cautiously asks, should we think of a way to return to the Xiaoxian continent ahead of time? There was silence. Just when Han Yi thinks that Di Mingju won't answer, he hears the man's deep and hoarse voice, Find out who that man is for Bin Jun. Di Mingju's tone is very flat and calm, but when Han Yi hears it, he quivers all over. Chapter 120. Han Yi swallows, finding the right words with difficulty. Jun Shang, killing people and seizing their treasures. No, killing people and seizing their wives, that's not too good, right? He would be struck by lightning. Why don't we consider it again? Di Mingju coldly looks at Han Yi. After a long while, he slowly says, Bin Jun won't do that. It wasn't that he couldn't do it, it wasn't that he didn't dare to do it. But, if he did that, would Mu Yin be sad and even hate him? Jun Shang, since you don't intend to kill and steal your wife, what can you do even if you find that person? Yes. What could they do even if they found that person? What could he do by staying here? Could it be that he had to watch Mayan and another man kissing each other? However, the thought of forever losing the only woman who could move his heart, the thought of never being able to see Mayan again. Di Mingju feels as if someone has dug out a piece of his heart. It's empty, as if the rest of his life will no longer have any joy. The appearance of the man in front of him is still unparalleled under the heavens, and his expression is still cold and indifferent. But for the first time, Han Yi feels bitter and sad. She felt sad for her Jun Shang. It was the first time his heart had been moved, the first time he had fallen in love with a woman, but she already belonged to someone else. Miss Mayan, isn't she supposed to be Jun Shang's destined daughter? How could I possibly have no fate with Jun Shang? Wait a minute, the daughter of destiny. Jun Shang, Han Yi suddenly bellows. Even Di Mingju jumps in fright, looking over with a calm face. This time, Han Yi isn't afraid of Di Mingju's cold expression at all. Instead, he says in high spirits, Jun Shang, perhaps there's still some misunderstanding in this matter? Misunderstanding? That's right. Have you forgotten, Jun Shang? Miss Jun is your destined woman. The fate between the two of you is preordained by the heavens. Elder Chang's readings have never been wrong, and when it concerns Jun Shang's fate, it is even more impossible for it to be wrong. So, this is either a misunderstanding, or there's something hidden. Why don't you check it out again? Hearing this, Di Mingju's originally serene and serene eyes suddenly light up with a blazing flame. The curtain fell on the farce, and the sky darkened. After having her dinner, Mu Yin takes Xiaobao back to her room. However, what was different from the past was that Xiaobao, who usually clung to her and wanted to sleep with her at night, took the initiative to enter the space this time. Mu Yin asks him why. With a straight face, he said in an icy childish voice, Xiaobao has grown up, he can't just stick to Nyangqin. Xiaobao has to become stronger to be able to protect Mother. After a pause, he continued, Mother, this time, I will come out after I break through to heaven rank. He no longer wanted to feel weak and helpless. Not only could he not protect his mother, but he also needed her to protect him. There's a trace of heartache in Mayan's eyes. Looking at the 4-year-old boy in front of her, who was so obedient and sensible, made her feel both proud and sad. However, she didn't show it. Instead, she smiled and lowered her head to kiss her son's forehead. Then, she said softly, Okay, Mother believes that Xiaobao will succeed. Because of Mu Yan's words, the handsome and cold little face instantly ripples into a happy smile. For the first time, Xiaobao took the initiative to reach out and hold Mu Yan's face, kissing her on the cheek. Then, he enters the space with a blushing face. Chapter 121. Because of Mayan's words, the handsome and cold little face instantly ripples into a happy smile. For the first time, Xiaobao reaches out to hold Mayan's face and kisses her. Then he enters the space with a blushing face. This time, Mayan directly seals the space so that Xiaobao can't see or hear anything happening outside. This way, nothing will disturb Xiaobao's seclusion. She herself also enters the space and plays with the Tian and Mo Qin for an entire hour. The Shun musician's skill, mist dispersing, when played during cultivation, can dispel inner demons and make cultivation twice the result with half the effort. It's just that this skill is a rare Shun musician skill. Mayan has studied it for a long time, but she only has a rough understanding of it. She can only play it for half an hour a day at most. But when she plays mist dispersing, She can clearly see that the internal force around Xiao Bao has become calm and docile, and Xiao Bao's expression also becomes relaxed and serene. Even that rabbit, who is usually lazy and too lazy to even open its eyes, actually comes over when it hears her playing, mist dispersing. Its slightly narrowed mung bean eyes reveal a satisfied expression. After playing for an hour, Mayan is already panting, sweating profusely. But seeing Xiao Bao's steadily improving cultivation, her face shows a satisfied smile. She flashes out of the space and is about to rest when she suddenly sees the figure sitting on her bed. Even with Mayan's calmness, she is startled at this time. After a long while, she says in disbelief, "Why are you here?" She sees the man sitting on the bed slowly getting up and walking towards her. The candlelight shines on that inhumanly handsome face. Every inch of his facial features is exquisite to perfection, as if chiseled by a hatchet or a knife. That pair of ice blue eyes are like the sky and the sea. When they stare deeply at a person, it seems as if even the soul will be swallowed up by them. Mayan's breathing becomes slightly disordered as she is stared at by those blazing eyes, and she takes a step back. Dimingju's figure flashes, and he suddenly approaches her. Their noses are almost touching, and they can smell each other's breaths. "June Mayan, I, Dimingju, want to take you as my wife." Mayan stares blankly. This isn't the first time the man in front of her has said that he wants to marry her. However, the words he said this time were like a vow, causing her heart to tremble involuntarily. She's distracted for a moment, but Dimingju has already leaned forward and slowly touched her lips. As soon as he touched, he left, the kiss of a vow. However, Mu Yin suddenly came back to her senses. She took a step back and said in disbelief, "Did you forget that I'm already married and have a son? Are you trying to seduce a married woman by doing this?" This time, Dimingju isn't enraged in the slightest. Instead, he says with indifference and self-restraint, "I found the registration you made when you entered Xi'an." Registration? Mu Yin has a sudden realization. In some prosperous cities of Qiyin, Jingcheng, and Huangyao, visitors had to be interrogated and registered when they entered. Mu Yin still remembers that at that time, she filled in her own name and also filled in Xiaobao's name. Her husband's column was empty. In the column for Xiaobao's father, she directly wrote, "Dead." That little guy doesn't have a father, and you're not married either, Dimingju says with certainty. Mu Yin frowns at him. "So what? Xiaobao is indeed my biological son." Chapter 122. I don't mind. Dimingju's face is cold, clenching his teeth as he enunciates each word. The past is the past. Bin Jun doesn't care. As for what he thinks in his heart, whether or not he really doesn't care, only Dimingju himself knows. Mayan's teeth itch. "Heh, you don't care, but I do. I will treat that little guy like my own son." Dimingju ignores her words and continues, "As long as you marry Bin Jun, Xiaobao will be the supreme crown prince of the three realms. No one will dare to bully him again." This sentence, he said it more sincerely than that Bin Jun doesn't care. He didn't know why, but even though he clearly knew that Xiaobao was the son of Mu Yan's ex-husband, he couldn't bring himself to hate that little fellow, and even had an indescribable feeling of closeness. "I will protect my own son. There's no need for you to." Before Mu Yin could finish her words of refusal, her slender waist is suddenly embraced, and her red lips are sealed. After a long time, Dimingju finally releases her. "Insufferably arrogant," he says. "If you don't agree, then Bin Jun will pursue you until you agree. If you have misgivings, Bin Jun will eliminate them one by one. If you still have someone else in your heart, Bin Jun will wait until you only have me in your heart. But Jun Mayan, you are destined to be my, Dimingju's wife." Saying that, without waiting for Mayan to react, the man's figure disappears from the room. Mayan is left standing blankly on the spot, her face flushed red, unable to come back to her senses. After a long time, she gritted her teeth and closed the open window. Thinking of the man's domineering declaration, the corner of her mouth curved seductively. In both her past life and this life, Dimingju is the first man who is so persistent in pursuing her. He doesn't even care that she had a child. She was a little curious now. How was this insufferably arrogant man going to woo her? How was he going to move her heart? Early the next morning, as soon as Chen Qingfeng opened the door, he saw two figures rushing in like lightning. Give me a bottle of special mysterious energy filter. They were naturally Tian Yongjin and Wang Jiaqin. They arrived at the shop almost at the same time and shouted at the same time. Chen Qingfeng was stunned by the roar and did not react at all. The two of them were so anxious that their faces turned red. It's still Wang Jiaqin who's quick to react, quickly pulling out a bag of gold coins and slapping it on the table. Today, this young master paid first, still not giving me the special mysterious energy filter. Chen Qingfeng absent-mindedly takes the special mysterious energy filter and hands it to Wang Jiaqin. Wang Jiaqin immediately revealed a complacent smile and shook it at Tian Yongjin. Young Master Tian, thank you for letting me win today. With that, he swaggered away. Tian Yongjin was so angry that he gritted his teeth and had nowhere to vent his anger. He could only roar at Chen Qingfeng. Brat, are you tired of living? To actually sell this young master's draft to other people. Do you believe that I will smash your shop right now? Chen Qingfeng felt wronged. He didn't dare to offend Tian Yongjin, but he also didn't dare to offend Wang Jiaqin, the young master of Hongxing drugstore. Tian Dashao, please calm your anger. In fact, the owner has also introduced a new kind of draft today. I think it would be better for you to buy this new draft. I guarantee that the effect of this new draft will absolutely be 100 times stronger than the mysterious energy filter. Tian Yongjin asked suspiciously, what draft is so powerful? Why don't you tell me? Filter of barrier breaking. Chapter 123. Chen Qingfeng swallows his saliva, and after a long while, he says with difficulty, Tanda Xiao, this little one had just said that the effect of the filter of barrier breaking is 100 times stronger than the special mysterious energy filter, so the price is naturally 100 times higher. Therefore, 40,000 gold coins is not enough. 40,000 gold coins, 100 times? Tian Yongjin stares blankly for a moment, then roars in disbelief. For million gold coins? You want this young master for 4 million gold coins for a bottle of draft that I've never even heard of. Do you take this young master for a fool? Chen Qingfeng shrinks back in fright, but he insists. I'm sorry, Tanda Xiao, this is the price set by the owner. This little one can't do anything about it. If you really only want the mysterious energy filter, why don't you come back earlier tomorrow? In the end, Tian Yongjin doesn't buy the filter of barrier breaking. In fact, 4 million gold coins is too expensive. Even Tian Dashao, who squanders money like dirt, can't casually take it out. And what the hell is a filter of barrier breaking? He's never heard of it. However, in the next few days, Tian Dashao's intestines simply turn green because of today's decision. Ever since Tian Yongjin and Wang Jiaqin left, Junji Drugstore has once again returned to its deserted state. For a whole day, there's not even a single customer. Just when Chen Qingfeng thinks that he won't be able to do any business today, a somewhat aged old man with a stubble of beard, dressed in gray clothes. The old man looks a little down and out, but Chen Qingfeng doesn't neglect him in the slightest. He immediately warmly greets him. Excuse me, sir. Would you like to buy herbs or drafts? But, speaking up to here, Chen Qingfeng is somewhat embarrassed. Our shop is small, so the only draft we can sell is the mysterious energy filter. Hearing his words, the old man's face shows a disappointed expression, and he prepares to turn around and leave. Chen Qingfeng seems to have remembered something and hesitantly adds, our shop also has a special draft called the filter of barrier breaking. It's personally refined by our owner, but the price is also a bit. Before Chen Qingfeng could say the last expensive word, the old man suddenly widens his turbid eyes, his voice trembling as he calls out, You, what did you just say that draft is called? Filter of barrier breaking. The old man's expression became more and more agitated. He stared at Chen Qingfeng, and his withered hands grabbed Chen Qingfeng's clothes. Filter of barrier breaking. Quickly give me the filter of barrier breaking. Do you know how long I've been looking for this draft? Chen Qingfeng was startled by the old man's crazy look. But this customer, The price of the filter of barrier breaking made by our boss is very expensive. It costs 4 million gold coins, and it is only effective for ancient warriors of Earth level and below. Are you sure you want it? Ha ha ha, 4 million. How is 4 million expensive? The old man threw his head back and laughed. As long as I can break through this bottleneck, not to mention 4 million, even 4 million is more than worth it. As he spoke, the old man quickly took out a box. When the box was opened, there were dozens of pearls and a stack of banknotes. Chen Xingfeng gave it a rough look. It was worth more than 4 million gold coins. He felt like he was dreaming. In the blink of an eye, their medicine store had earned another 4 million. The main point was that this 4 million was a net profit. As soon as Chen Xingfeng handed over the filter of barrier breaking, the old man immediately grabbed it and drank it in one gulp. Chapter 124. Chen Xingfeng looks around at the door. Seeing that he's only cultivating, he doesn't pay attention to him. Instead, he happily counts his belongings, thinking that since he has capital, he naturally has to buy some good drafts. He can't just rely on Miss June's drafts to support the shop's operations, right? As he's absorbed in his calculations, there's a sudden clamor outside. Chen Xingfeng looks up, only to find that the outside is already crowded with people. Everyone was pointing at the corner of the door, their expressions shocked and excited. What's going on? Chen Xingfeng goes to the door to take a look, but he's startled. He sees that the place where the old man was sitting cross-legged a moment ago is now completely surrounded by smoke. He can only vaguely make out the old man's face in the lingering fog. As soon as Chen Xingfeng approaches, he can feel the majestic and powerful internal force surging and boiling. That internal force and pressure makes his face pale, and he unconsciously takes a step back. Breakthrough. He's really going to break through. Is he going to break through from the middle of Earth stage to the high Earth stage? No, that's not right. He's already broken through to the high Earth stage, but the pressure of that internal force is still rising. Are you kidding me? Is he going to break through from the middle of Earth stage to Heaven stage? How is that possible? The crowd's whispers keep ringing, with infinite surprise and envy. But there are also people who are very puzzled. Hey, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that the Ghost City's ghost envoy, Old Tao? He's been stuck in the middle of Earth stage for more than 30 years. How could he suddenly break through? I heard that Old Tao has been unable to advance his cultivation and is already about to be expelled from the Ghost City. I didn't expect him to have such a strong foundation. It's fine if he doesn't break through, but once he breaks through, he amazes the world with a single brilliant feat. As everyone is talking, there's a sudden loud bang, coming from the direction where Old Tao is sitting cross-legged. The wall of Junji drugstore that Old Tao is leaning against has a big hole blown through. The gray clothes on his body have all been blown to pieces. The crowd of onlookers around him are pushed back several steps by that frightening blast. Old Tao slowly gets up from the ground, only a pair of ragged pants that can't even cover his important parts. But after a moment of silence, he suddenly looks up and laughs. I broke through. I finally broke through. The heavens didn't let me die. I actually found the filter of barrier breaking. Ha ha ha. The heavens haven't forsaken me yet. As it turns out, this old man is a ghost envoy of the Ghost City. He had been stuck in the middle rank of the Earth realm for a whole 32 years. If he still couldn't break through to the high rank of Earth stage, he would never have any hope of peeping into Heaven stage again in this lifetime. But the more anxious he was, the more despair he felt. Furthermore, as they grew older, talented ghost servants were promoted one by one. His position was also under serious threat. If he can't break through forever, it's very likely that he will be expelled from the Ghost City. Therefore, after hearing that Ru Yin took the filter of barrier breaking and advanced to the middle rank of Earth stage, he began to frantically search for her in Xi'an. And now, he finally found the filter of barrier breaking. The effect of the filter of barrier breaking was even more terrifying than he had imagined. Not only did it allow him to break through his bottleneck, it also cleared away the impurities in his qi and activated all the profound energy in his body. Chapter 125. How could Old Tao not be ecstatic? But the onlookers only heard one important point. What? Old Tao, you took the filter of barrier breaking to break through the bottleneck? Isn't that the legendary filter of barrier breaking that's rumored to be more valuable than the elixir refined by Master Jinfeng? Quick, tell us where to buy the filter of barrier breaking. Oh my god. The filter of barrier breaking can actually help people break through bottlenecks, even if it costs 10 million gold coins. I must buy it. Hurry up and tell me where to buy it from. He learned from Old Tao that the filter of barrier breaking was bought from this small medicine shop next to him. Moreover, the purchase price was as cheap as 4 million gold coins, which was as cheap as cabbages. Everyone's eyes turned green. One by one, they glared at Chen Qingfeng, who was standing at the door. That bottle of filter of barrier breaking that had just been auctioned off in the Ghost City was sold for 12 million gold coins a. But Old Tao actually bought it at this Junji drugstore for 4 million gold coins. It was a difference of 3 times the price. Aw, I'm so envious, so jealous, so hateful. Chen Qingfeng took a step back with a pale face. He swallowed his saliva and said, "Calm down. You guys calm down. Today's filter of barrier breaking was sold out. If you want to buy the filter of barrier breaking, please come early tomorrow." As soon as he finished speaking, he didn't dare to delay any longer. He slammed the door shut and ran away as fast as he could. Boo-hoo-hoo, Miss June. These people who want to buy special grade drafts are so scary. If you don't take out a few more drafts to sell, this little one won't be able to hold on. Unfortunately, Chen Qingfeng's wish is beautiful, but Mu Yan's alchemy still depends on her mood. However, looking at Chen Qingfeng's pitiful appearance, Mu Yan was merciful in the end and lent Yin Haoyan to Chen Qingfeng to maintain public order. Sure enough, with Yin Haoyan's scarred face and fiendish appearance, the number of people who dared to act rashly immediately decreased by more than half. On this day, Tian Yongjin and Wang Jiaqin rush over to Junji drugstore early in the morning. The two of them were at each other's throats. Today, they must be the first to snatch that special grade mysterious energy filter. He had thought that he would see the same deserted scene as before. But just as they turned the corner, the two of them were stunned. That's because in front of that Junji drugstore, there's a dense crowd of people. Everyone craned their necks and hung their heads as they desperately tried to look into the medicine shop. Some people couldn't help but bang on the door and shout, "Open the door! Open the door! We've been waiting all night. Quickly let us buy drafts." Tian Yongjin and Wang Jiaqin were dumbfounded. What was going on? Why are there so many people crowded in front of Junji drugstore? Could it be that the matter of the special mysterious energy filter was exposed? Both of them glared at each other angrily. Did you leak the news? Are you stupid? If other people knew about the existence of the special mysterious energy filter, then how could they swallow a bottle of the special mysterious energy filter every day? After asking the question, both of them were stunned. Didn't you tell them? Wang Jiaqin's eyes were sharp, and he saw a familiar face among them. He sucked in a breath of cold air. There was a gray-haired old man in the crowd, but his tiger-like eyes shone brightly. Clearly, his cultivation was extremely high. It was an elder of the famous Li family in Xi'an. Why would an elder of the dignified Li family run over to line up in front of a small drugstore? Even if it's for the special mysterious energy filter, isn't that too exaggerated? Chapter 126. In a split second, the crowd rushed in like a tide. Filter of barrier breaking. Quickly give me the filter of barrier breaking. I'm willing to pay 8 million units. Sell me the filter of barrier breaking. Get out of the way. I've already prepared notes worth 12 million gold coins. Let me in first. Tian Yongjin and Wang Jiaqin were dumbfounded. What was going on? Even if it's just to buy a special grade mysterious energy filter, there's no need to be that crazy, right? Even the doors of Junji drugstore have been squeezed until they're broken. There were even people who stumbled and were stepped on by the crowd. They immediately spat out blood and could not get up. This stance, it's like they're going to tear down Junji drugstore. But just when Tian Yongjin and the rest think that the Junji drugstore will be overturned, the crowd is suddenly thrown out one by one. Then, a sturdy man covered in scars like an iron tower stood at the entrance of the shop. His expression was cold, and his eyes were fierce. When he glanced at everyone, No one dared to act rashly. Tian Yongjin finally couldn't bear it anymore. He grabbed a person and asked, "Are you all here to buy the special mysterious energy filter?" "What's a special mysterious energy filter?" That person is baffled. "What's the use of a mysterious energy filter?" "We're all here to snatch the filter of barrier breaking. That's a draft that goes against the natural order that can help people break through bottlenecks. Moreover, it was only sold for 4 million gold coins. That was 8 million gold coins cheaper than the Ghost City's auction. Whoever doesn't snatch it is a fool." Filter. Filter of barrier breaking? Tian Yongjin's eyes widened, and his voice trembled. Filter of barrier breaking worth 4 million gold coins? You're saying that that's a heaven-defying draft that could break through bottlenecks? Yeah? Don't you even know this? That person looks at them like he's looking at idiots. That day, the appearance of a heaven-defying draft in the Ghost City had spread like wildfire. After Miss Ru Yin took the filter of barrier breaking, she broke through on the spot. Ghost City's old Tao, who hadn't been able to break through to the middle of Earth stage for 30 years, yesterday he bought the filter of barrier breaking here for 4 million gold coins. As a result, he broke through on the spot, and now he's already at the peak of Earth stage. There is no one in Xia and who doesn't know about this matter. As he spoke, Yin Haoyin, who was standing at the door like a door god, suddenly stepped aside, revealing the trembling figure of Chen Qingfeng. He clears his throat, takes a look at the crowd outside, and says in a trembling voice, "Everyone, I'm really sorry. Master didn't make the filter of barrier breaking today, so there is no filter of barrier breaking for sale today." Are you kidding me? I've been lining up since last night. Yes. I must buy the filter of barrier breaking today. Miley family is willing to pay 15 million gold coins for a bottle of filter of barrier breaking. 1,500. Chen Qingfeng swallows his saliva, promptly suppressing the pain in his heart. He goes on to say, "Everyone, although this shop didn't offer a filter of barrier breaking today, the owner still refined other special drafts. They are a bottle of mysterious energy filter, a bottle of healing fluid, and a bottle of rapid fluid, each priced at 40,000 gold coins." Before he could finish speaking, he's interrupted by Elderly. "These drafts that you're talking about, were they all refined by that master who refined the filter of barrier breaking?" That's right. All the special drafts that this shop sells are all refined by the owner himself. Buy. Someone immediately shouts, "As long as it's the special drafts refined by this master, I'll buy them all." Chapter 127. What's a few 100,000 gold coins? Even if it's just an ordinary draft, what this master refines is absolutely the best. Today, Miley family must grab it. Because there are too few drafts and too many people are fighting over them, they finally use the method of drawing lots. Whoever is lucky enough to draw a red lot will have the priority to buy a special draft. As a result, in less than the time it takes to burn a stick of incense, a bottle of mysterious energy filter worth 40,000 gold coins, a bottle of healing fluid worth 600,000 gold coins, and a bottle of speed fluid worth 300,000 gold coins are all snapped up. In this way, the people who spent money are all beaming with joy, while the people who didn't manage to buy it have a sullen look on their faces. Not far away, Tian Yongjin and Wang Jiaqin blankly watched the departing crowd. Suddenly, they raise their hands and ruthlessly slap themselves. A filter of barrier breaking that's 4 million gold coins. A draft that goes against the natural order at the price of cabbages. They actually missed it. They're pigs. The special drafts outside are selling like crazy, but it has nothing to do with Mayan in the space. During this time, she gave Chen Qingfeng very few drafts. It's not that she wants to engage in hunger marketing, but that she's really busy. She's been busy studying the Tian Emo Qin and the Shen musician skills. The Shen musician inheritance is directly sent to Mayan's mind. But to really master it, it's not as easy as it sounds on paper. Up until now, the Shen musician skills that Mayan has mastered are Zither Soundblade, which is used to attack, Echo Recovery, which is used to restore internal force, Mist Dispersing, which is used to disintegrate inner demons, and Spring Snow, which is used to assist in refining drafts. Do many of these skills look very powerful? But in fact, these are just the tip of the iceberg of the Shin musician skills. And Mayan's current Shan musician level is only at the pitiful first level. Many of the rare Shin musician skills can only be learned after the Shun musician level rises. There are also some skills, such as Echo Recovery, which are her group support skills. She can only start to master them after she reaches the second level. However, is it easy to level up as a Shin musician? As Mayan masters more and more Shin musician skills, she discovers that if she wants to level up as a Shin musician, it's far from enough to increase the internal force in her body. To put it bluntly, a Shin musician is a musician like a god. Musicians naturally had to understand music and control it. In order to control the rhythm, one would need great mental strength. Fortunately, Mayan belongs to the category of rebirth, so whether it is mind or mental strength, she is far more powerful than ordinary people. This is also the reason why the Tian Imo Chin would eventually recognize her as its master. However, it was still not enough to have a strong mind power. This is because, after a Shun musician breaks through to the third level, all skills that can be upgraded require spiritual power to be manipulated. But the current Mayan hasn't even grasped the threshold of spiritual power. On one hand, Mayan is playing the Tian Imo Chin, grinding the proficiency of each Shan musician skill, and in passing, improving her mental power. On the other hand, she's thinking about how to cultivate her spiritual power. Suddenly, a bang came from outside the space, and even the aura in the space fluctuated. She hurriedly left the space and followed the sound. Soon, she arrived at the backyard. She was dumbfounded by what she saw. She sees that there's a big hole in the west wall of the former Chin family's current Junji drugstore's backyard. A head was poking out from behind the hole. It seemed to be testing the length and width of the hole. Chapter 128. When he sees Mayan approaching, the man immediately looks over, revealing a fawning smile. "Miss Mayan, I'm really sorry. Did I disturb you? Don't worry, this subordinate will get it done right away. I guarantee that it won't take more than the time it takes to burn a stick of incense." The person in front of her is Di Mingju's trusted subordinate, Han Yi. He's covered in dust. His entire face is dusty. When he grins, his white teeth are particularly obvious, and he looks especially silly. The corner of Mayan's mouth twitches. "What are you doing?" After a pause, she narrows her eyes suspiciously. "That's not right. Why are you here?" If she remembers correctly, there should be a family of 4 living next door, right? Han Yi pats the dust off his body and smiles faintly at Mayan. "Reporting to Miss Mayan, this courtyard has been bought by our Jun Shang. Right now, Jun Shang and you are only separated by a wall. However, Jun Shang feels that this wall is not good, as it widens the distance between you and him. Therefore, this subordinate intends to open a door here, so that it will be much easier for you to meet in the future." Mayan simply wants to roll her eyes. Who wants to meet that guy? Moreover, someone who can silently appear in her room. Does he need to break her wall if he wants to meet her? The corner of Mayan's mouth hooks up into a smile that isn't a smile, and she hooks her finger at Han Yi. In terms of age and cultivation, Han Yi is naturally far greater than Mayan. However, Mayan is Jun Shang's future wife, the Empress of the 3 realms. Han Yi doesn't dare to act rashly, and as soon as he's summoned, he obediently goes over. The smile on Mayan's mouth deepens. Her bright and beautiful complexion is like the blazing sun in the sky, making people not dare to look directly at her, but also happily yearning for her. Even Han Yi is dazed for a moment. He inwardly thinks that in the Shoshin continent, it's not that there aren't any who are more outstanding than Miss Mayan, but there isn't a woman like this girl in front of him. When she smiles, those pair of peach blossom eyes are overflowing with light, as if they can hook away a person's soul. It's no wonder that ever since their family's Jun Shang met Miss Mayan, he has been completely dominated. Just as he's thinking, he suddenly hears a clear and melodious voice. "Did your Jun Shang let you smash the wall?" Han Yi repeatedly nods. "Then do you know that this wall belongs to both your courtyard and mine?" Han Yi nods again. "If it wasn't like this, Jun Shang wouldn't have allowed it to be smashed." Mayan sneers. "Since you know that this courtyard also belongs to me, why did you smash it?" This, Mu Yin stretches out her slender jade hand and grabs Han Ye's collar. Her tone is languid. "So, I'll give you half an hour to obediently mend this wall for me. Otherwise, do you understand? You understood. Only then does Mayan loosen her grip in satisfaction. Patting Han Ye's wrinkled collar, she leisurely leaves. After Mayan's figure disappears, Han Yi abruptly comes back to his senses. Heavens, he was just intimidated by the imposing manner of a mortal from Yinwu continent. It's over. It's over. All. He had no power to resist. Han Yi covers his face. Even if it's a woman that Jun Shang fancies, this is too scary. An hour later, Mu Yin came to the backyard again. Seeing that the wall had been mended, she nodded in satisfaction. However, just as she returned to her room, she hears a knock on the door. Aunt Chun pushes open the door and comes in. Behind her are 4 people, each carrying 2 heavy wooden boxes. Chapter 129. Ani Chun also has a strange expression on her face. These 4 people said that they were entrusted by someone to give it to Miss, but they refused to say who entrusted it to them. The 4 people are taciturn. After putting down the wooden box, one of them respectfully hands a letter to Mayan. Strange? She shouldn't know anyone in Xi'an who would write a letter to her. Just as she's thinking, Ani Chun opens the box and exclaims, "Oh, there's a lot of jewelry." Mayan looks up and sees that the box is stuffed to the brim with gold, silver, and jewelry. Although the quantity doesn't seem to be as much as Jin Wangye's, it far exceeds in terms of quality and value, especially the dozens of rainbow-colored gems inside. Any one of them would be priceless if taken out. Miss June, who gave this to you? Could it be that someone proposed marriage to you again? Mayan suspiciously opens the letter. When she sees the contents, her face immediately fills with black lines. Ani Chun really guessed it right, at least half of it. Because what is written in the letter is, Mayan, my wife idle and bored. I send 2 boxes of worldly goods for you to enjoy, not a betrothal gift. At the end, it's signed with the word Ju in a dance of dragons, phoenixes, and phoenixes. The man's domineering, callous, and disdainful majesty is vividly displayed in this word. She doesn't need to think to know who sent these things. Deming Ju. So, this is what he meant by pursuing? First smashing the wall, then throwing money? So direct, so crude, so vulgar. Moreover, when did she agree to marry him? He actually opens his mouth and calls her my wife? Mayan stares at the few lines in the letter. When she sees the last 3 words, not a betrothal gift, the corners of her mouth can't help but hook up into a playful smile. The point is, he's still so petty. Are these 3 words ridiculing the shabbiness of Jin Wangye's betrothal gifts? Just as Mayan is considering how to deal with these worldly goods for her to enjoy, Chen Qingfeng, who was supposed to open a shop in the front yard, hurries over, saying that someone wants to see her. And the person who wants to see her is an unexpected person. Mayan picked up a cup of tea and gently took a sip. Only then did she raise her head to look at the woman sitting in front of her. She faintly smiled and said, Miss Ru Yin paying a visit to my little shop is really a rare guest. The woman sitting on the opposite side is wearing a purple dress and light muslin. Her eyebrows aren't smiling, but they contain affection. She is the famous ghost envoy of Xi'an's ghost city, Miss Ru Yin. Miss June, please don't say that. Right now, you're Xi'an's most sought-after draft master. If you're willing to visit our ghost city, then you'll be our ghost city's honored guest. Ru Yin is deeply indebted to you. It is truly shameful for me to visit you today. Ru Yin stands up and gracefully salutes Mu Yin, her expression incomparably sincere. After sitting down again, she says, In fact, I came here today to represent Ghost City to invite you, Miss June. Oh, invite me? Mayan leisurely says, I'll say this in advance. I don't intend to consign my drafts for sale in the Ghost City for the time being. Ru Yin promptly shakes her head. Miss June, you've misunderstood. Nowadays, who in Xi'an doesn't know that only Junji Drugstore has special drafts that have nature-defying effects. The rules set by Junji Drugstore are also the most stringent. No matter how much money, no matter how much power, you can't make Junji Drugstore compromise and change the rules. Since that's the case, you still want to invite me? Chapter 130. Rare Drafts? Mu Yan's eyes slightly brighten, and she sits up straight. Tell me about it. Ru Yan quickly tells her about the drafts that might appear at the auction 3 days later. Mu Yan has found many of them in the fog forest, but there are fewer and fewer of them nowadays. There are also some that Mu Yan hasn't found yet. Miss June, would you be willing to do us the honor of attending? Of course. Mu Yan picks up the teacup and drains it in one gulp, smiling sincerely. Many thanks for the information, miss. In 3 days, I will certainly attend the auction on time. 3 days later, Mu Yan goes to the entrance of the Ghost City alone, leaving Yin Hao Yin to help out at the Junji drugstore. As usual, there's still a long queue at the entrance of the Ghost City. Mu Yin is just about to pay the 100 gold coin entrance fee when she sees a middle-aged man dressed in a ghost envoy's attire rushing out. With a face full of smiles, he says to Mu Yin, "This must be Miss June? This one is the ghost envoy Luo Fei. I've long heard of your great name." Seeing that Mu Yin is taking out 100 gold coins to pay the entrance fee, Luo Fei immediately flatters, "Miss June, you're an honored guest of our Ghost City. You're free to come and go. There's no need to pay any entrance fee." Mu Yin glances at him and says with a smile that isn't a smile, "No need. I'm most afraid of trouble. Following the rules has always been the simplest thing, isn't it?" After saying that, she casually tossed the 100 gold coins into the money box. Luo Fei's complexion changes, then he immediately nods again and again. "Miss June is right. Your Junji drugstore is now famous in Xia and for abiding by the rules. Also, your filter of barrier breaking allowed our Ghost Cities Ru Yin and Old Tao to break through their bottlenecks. Now, it's the hottest draft in our Ghost City." Saying that, his eyes reveal a greedy and blazing light. This one has been stuck in the middle of the Earth stage for a long time. If I could ask Miss June to refine a bottle of the filter of barrier breaking, that would really be. But before Luo Fei could finish, Mu Yin interrupts him. "If I remember correctly, the one who received me today should be Miss Ru Yan, right?" Mu Yan's words didn't make it clear, but when she looked at Luo Fei with disdain, it made Luo Fei's face twist. He clenched his teeth and suppressed his anger. "Ru Yin is only a 3rd-rank ghost errand boy, and I am already a 4th-rank ghost errand boy. The implication is that his status in the Ghost City is much higher than Fang Yan's. For him to personally receive her, Mayan should be deeply grateful." But Mu Yin just smiled and said lightly, "Oh, is that so? That manager of the Ghost City really has no foresight." After saying that, she brushes past Luo Fei and enters the Ghost City. Luo Fei was left standing where he was, staring at her back with a dark look in his eyes. The Ghost City's auction house is adjacent to the Beast Fighting Coliseum. At this time, Mu Yin was sitting in a private room on the 3rd floor. She could faintly hear the earth-shattering shouts coming from the Coliseum next door. On the other hand, the auction house was much quieter and more refined. On the stage, a beautiful and alluring girl, whose appearance is comparable to Ru Yan's, presents the drafts that will be auctioned one by one in front of everyone. Listening to the rising and falling voices of the people below, Mu Yin is somewhat lacking in interest. That's because the drafts that were auctioned earlier were things that she could easily pick up in the fog forest. Chapter 131. Her fingers gently caress the jade bracelet on her wrist, and a trace of annoyance flits through her eyes. That day when Jin Wangya proposed marriage, Di Mingju inexplicably put this white jade bracelet on her, and she took it off as soon as she turned her head. But who knew that on the 3rd day, when that guy found out that she didn't wear it, he actually flew into a rage, and even had an appearance of being greatly wronged. Soon after, she couldn't take this jade bracelet off her wrist anymore. Recalling the man's overbearing, stubborn, and insufferably arrogant expression, Mayan can't help but brush her forehead. As she's thinking, a white light suddenly flashes before her eyes. A white, fluffy, and plump rabbit appears in front of her. Mayan raises her eyebrows. "Yo, a lazy rabbit like you also has a day where you can come out for a walk?" The fat rabbit is still very tactful. It knows that this is the little master's mother, the person who holds the power over its life and death. Thus, it sticks out its little tongue to curry favor, licking Mayan's fingers and rubbing its plump, fluffy body against her. Well, if that's the case, then moving its body can be considered rubbing. I haven't seen it for a few days. How come this rabbit seems to be fatter? Casually trying to curry favor with Mayan. The rabbit's round little mung bean eyes immediately stare in one direction, and there's a greedy and longing glint in its eyes. Its fluffy little mouth is slightly open, and there seems to be drool flowing down. Mayan is just wondering about this little guy's reaction when she sees the fat rabbit hopping on its hind legs and directly scurrying out. The direction it's heading towards is still the back window of the private room. Wait, over the back window, that's the beast fighting coliseum. What does the fat rabbit want to do? Mayan's eyes and hands are quick, and she promptly grabs the fat rabbit back. The fat rabbit is so anxious that its 4 short legs are flailing about, and that round belly actually makes rumbling sounds. Huh, this is hungry? Could it be that there's food here that the fat rabbit would like? Just as she's thinking, the voice of the beautiful ghost envoy comes from below. The starting auction is for purple danshin. Starting price, 10,000 gold coins. Hearing the 3 words purple danshin, Mayan's spirit immediately shakes, and she promptly prepares to bid. Although she still has purple danshin in her space, there aren't many left. In the split second that she's distracted, the fat rabbit immediately breaks away from her control and jumps out of the window. Tisk! Mu Yin frowns. The back window was the Beast Coliseum. There were either bloodthirsty and berserk martial artists there, or savage exotic beasts 100 times bigger than the fat rabbit. If the fat rabbit went there, it wouldn't be eaten as food, right? However, thinking that the fat rabbit can even swallow and digest the sacred beast egg, Mayan's heart still goes back to her stomach. Purple pill ginseng. The guest in the first private room bids 20,000 gold coins. The 2-hour auction quickly came to an end. Mu Yin stood up with a smile and stretched. She's very satisfied with today's harvest. In the prescriptions that Bailey Inlu left behind, there are quite a few kinds of drafts that are as rare as the filter of barrier breaking. She really wants to try to concoct them, but she suffers from not having enough medicinal herbs. Now, she had finally collected most of these rare medicinal herbs. However, just as Mayan is about to pay the gold coins and receive the drafts, she sees a first-stage ghost envoy walking towards her. He respectfully salutes Mayan. Miss June, our Ghost City's Magistrate Sue invites you. In the Ghost City, there are ghost envoys from 1st to 5th rank. Judges of the 5th level and above were considered infernal judges. Chapter 132. Above the Ghost King is the person in charge of all the ghost markets in Yinwu continent, the Ghost Emperor. But she heard that a long, long time ago, there was an even higher level above the Ghost Emperor, a supreme existence. He was called the Dark Lord. However, it is said that apart from the first generation of the Ghost City, no one has ever seen the Dark Lord again. And a Ghost City's magistrate is already a very high level. For example, in Xia'an's Ghost City, that magistrate is equivalent to an existence that can call the wind and summon the rain. And now, such an existence that can call the wind and summon the rain specially summons her? She doesn't know what his intentions are? The corner of Mayan's mouth hooks up into a leisurely arc, and she leisurely follows the little ghost envoy to a luxurious room. There's no one in the room, but Mayan doesn't feel the slightest bit awkward or uncomfortable. Minding her own business, she sits down, pours herself a cup of tea, and slowly drinks it. Miss June is really young and promising, with outstanding courage and insight. A deep voice suddenly comes from outside the door. Immediately after, the door is pushed open, and several people enter in a line. The leader is an old man. His hair and beard are all white, but his skin is smooth and tight. If you don't look at his hair color, he looks to be in his 40s at most. He looks at Mayan with a pair of tiger-like eyes and says with a solemn smile, "Miss June is so at ease to eat and drink at this old man's place. Aren't you afraid that this old man will poison your tea?" Mayan raises her eyebrows and glances at him. Her posture is still languidly sitting on the chair, without the slightest intention of getting up to greet him. A sweet-sounding voice leisurely rings out, "Ghost City's Magistrate Sue, you shouldn't use such a despicable method like poisoning and sneak attacking, right? What kind of attitude is this?" Luo Fei, who is following behind Magistrate Sue, suddenly becomes angry from shame and shouts loudly, "Do you know who is standing in front of you? This is our ghost city's magistrate Su. Even if it's the city lord, or even the heads of influential families in Xi'an, who wouldn't be respectful and fawning when they see Magistrate Su. And as Magistrate Su's apprentice, Luo Fei has always been respected. When has he ever suffered such vexation in front of Mayan? Mayan gives him a sidelong glance and sneers. This ghost envoy Luo Fei, is there something wrong with your brain? Didn't I just greet Magistrate Su? Do I need you to repeat yourself? If you don't have a good brain, then don't work in the ghost city, so as to avoid making a fool of yourself and losing face for the entire ghost city. You bitch, I'm going to kill you. Luo Fei was finally angered by her. Raising his fist, he circulated his profound qi and was about to smash it towards her. Luo Fei, come back. Don't be rude to Miss June. Magistrate Su let out a loud shout, and the powerful pressure of an innate rancor filled the air. Luo Fei, who had just rushed out, staggered and fell to the ground. The other ghost envoys who followed him in were also shivering, their faces pale. Only Mu Yin, who was sitting at the table, is still smiling and leisurely sipping tea. Shock and amazement flashed through Magistrate Su's eyes. Then he took a big step forward and sat in front of her. This old man has lived for so long, but has never seen such a young Xiantian expert like Miss June. Not only was he an innate rancor, but he was also an apothecary who could concoct heaven-defying medicine. Miss June's talent really makes this old man gasp in admiration. Even in the 1,000 years of history of my ghost city, there has never been a record of a person as talented as Miss June. Chapter 133. You woman, you're really shameless. Luo Fei couldn't help but curse again. Magistrate Su fiercely glares at him, and he immediately bitterly retreats. Magistrate Su looks at Mayan with a burning gaze, lowering his voice. Miss June misunderstood. Our ghost city doesn't buy drafts. Oh, don't buy drafts? Then what does Magistrate Su want me to do by keeping me here? Magistrate Su picks up the teacup in front of him and takes a sip, then slowly puts it down. On behalf of Ghost City, I would like to invite Miss June to become our exclusive alchemist. As compensation, I am willing to promise Miss June the title and position of a rank 5 ghost envoy. Miss June is so intelligent and talented at such a young age. I believe that you should know how much benefit you can get from becoming a rank 5 ghost envoy. Rank 5 ghost envoy? That is indeed a great benefit. Even in the entire ghost city of Xi'an, there are only a dozen or so rank 5 ghost envoys. Moreover, every one of them is promoted step by step by accumulating merits. After becoming a rank 5 ghost envoy, all the treasures in the ghost city can be bought at half price. Moreover, they have the power to buy and sell the slaves in Wanren-ku. Hearing Magistrate Su's promise, Luo Fei's eyes turn red with jealousy. He has a deep background, and he's also Magistrate Su's apprentice. After 30 years, he's only a rank 4 ghost envoy. But Mayan is a rank 5 ghost envoy? A little girl whose hair hasn't even fully grown. How can she step on his head? Mayan's expression doesn't even change when she hears that. She strolls around and says, "Oh? Rank 5 ghost envoy, that sounds really good. But what if I don't agree?" Her words make Magistrate Su's face suddenly turn cold. His voice also becomes gloomy, like a real magistrate of the underworld. Miss June, do you really think that you can run amok in the world and be invincible just because you're a pre-celestial expert? Heh, pre-celestial experts may be really rare outside, but in our ghost city, they're nothing more than a useful tool in our hands. If you're willing to be obedient, then the ghost city will naturally give you enough power and wealth. But if you're stubborn and insist on going against the ghost city, then your fate will only be more miserable than those casually trampled slaves in Wanren-ku. Mayan narrows her eyes, her expression still languid, but her body reveals a languid aura. She hated it when people threatened her. However, Luo Fei had long felt indignant when he saw her arrogant look. Now that she saw that Magistrate Su wanted to fall out with her, she immediately felt incomparably carefree in her heart. He couldn't help but laugh out loud. "June Mayan, I've checked. You shameless whore. You don't have a husband, but you have a son. That little bastard. I don't know which wild man you had illicit relations with to give birth to him. If you really want to go against our ghost city, not only will you be sold to Wanrenku, even your son won't have a good end. I know that there are many high-level martial artists and wealthy families who love to play with those beautiful children. I've seen that son of yours. He's so handsome. It really makes one's heart flutter. He believed that if it was auctioned in 10,000 cave, it would definitely sell for a good price. Ha ha ha. Ah. Before Luo Fei could finish speaking, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his throat, and his whole body was lifted up. Chapter 134. At this time, Mayan's expression is still incomparably calm. There's even a charming smile hanging on the corner of her mouth. But her pair of eyes that are usually half squinted, full of charm and laziness, are now completely open. Her eyes are blood red, blazing like fire, as if it could burn everything in the world. Xiao Bao is Mayan's reverse scale. No one can touch it. Whoever touches it will die. No one could have expected this turn of events. Even Magistrate Su is caught off guard. By the time he comes back to his senses, Mayan is already clutching Luo Fei's throat. Magistrate Su roars, "Jun Mayan, you dare to injure people in my ghost city? Do you really not want to live anymore?" Luo Fei's neck is clutched, his face flushes purple, his eyes are filled with panic. He opens his mouth wide and lets out a hoarse and broken voice. Save me. Let me go. Kill me, you. You won't live either. You wouldn't dare to kill me. If you kill me, you won't be able to walk out alive." Although he's panicking, although he's in pain, Luo Fei firmly believes that Mayan wouldn't dare to kill him. Then, he sees the girl's smile, as bright as a spring flower, brighter and more beautiful than the sun. The 5 fingers on his neck suddenly tighten. There's only a cracking sound. Luo Fei's neck is crooked, and he completely loses his breath. "Jun Mayan, you dare!" Magistrate Su lets out a heart-wrenching, lung-splitting roar and ruthlessly swings his palm out. In a split second, internal force surges, and a terrifying pressure scatters in all directions. The surrounding tables, chairs, and benches are all smashed to pieces, smashed into a complete mess. All the ghost envoys are crawling on the ground, shivering, their complexions deathly pale. There's even a small rank 1 ghost envoy that overflows with blood at the corner of his mouth. His eyes roll back and he passes out. However, when the wind from the palm dissipates, Magistrate Su looks again, only to find that the entire room is empty. Where's Jun Mayan's shadow? He's trembling with anger, almost going crazy. The ghost city has run amok in the Yinwu continent for so long. It's been rampant for so long. Who dares to disobey? Who dares to resist? No one even dares to show the slightest bit of disrespect. But today, a little girl who was only 18 or 19 years old had killed his disciple right in front of him. How could he endure such a great humiliation? If Jun Mayan really escapes, then how would the ghost city still have the face to see people in the future? Pass down my order. Stop all business in the ghost city. Close the gates of the ghost city. No one is allowed to enter or leave. Gather all the magistrates and 5th-rank ghost envoys. Even if you have to turn the entire ghost city upside down, you must find that slut, Jun Mayan. There are a total of 5 pre-celestial practitioners in Xia'an, including Magistrate Su. Moreover, each of them had entered the innate realm for several years, some even more than 10 years. Even if Jun Mayan is a pre-celestial expert, she's still only an 18 or 19-year-old girl. How could she contend against a colossus like the ghost city? Her fate was already determined, and it would definitely be extremely miserable. Magistrate Su issues all the orders. The crazed fury in his eyes slowly recedes, turning into bitter resentment and maliciousness. "Jun Mayan, wait until you fall into this old man's hands. This old man will make you beg for death." At the same time, in the Colosseum, Magistrate Su's orders have just been issued, but the last beast fighting competition hasn't ended yet. Roar, a shocking roar. A majestic pressure surges forth like a tide. Chapter 135. Several people have already stood up and frantically shouted, cheering for the exotic beasts that they had bet on. On the stage, the two scarred exotic beasts are tearing at each other. In the end, it's the snow leopard with its sharp claws and agile agility that wins. And it's the red bear that's as big as a hill, able to smash a boulder with a single slap, that can stand in the end. These two are the Ghost City's Beast Fighting Coliseum's rare heaven stage exotic beasts. They're also the Coliseum's trump card. Even the ghost envoys that raise them must be rank 4 or above. Otherwise, if you're not careful, you'll become a side meal for these two heaven stage exotic beasts. Every time these two heaven stage exotic beasts appear on the stage, the scene is always exceptionally explosive. Not to mention that today, the Colosseum actually sent out both heaven stage exotic beasts. That's why today's spectators are so crazy. Blood, violence, cruelty, and slaughter. These are the things that the martial artists who come to the Colosseum are most eager to experience. Time passes by, minute by minute. More and more blood is flowing from the two heaven stage exotic beast bodies. Seeing that it's already the decisive moment, the martial artists in the stands are completely immersed, screaming hysterically at the top of their lungs. No one noticed that in the corner, there was a plump rabbit with snow-white fur. It was swaying as it walked towards the center of the warbeast stage. Just as the rabbit is getting closer and closer to the two heaven stage exotic beasts. Suddenly, the two heaven stage exotic beasts seem to have felt something and abruptly separated. Their bodies curled up into a ball, their eyes revealing a look of alarm. What's going on? Why did they suddenly stop fighting? When did a rabbit appear on the warbeast stage? Who threw it up there? Why do I feel that the two heaven stage exotic beasts are afraid of this rabbit? Are you kidding me? Those are heaven stage exotic beasts. When they were fighting each other just now, they didn't have the slightest bit of fear. How could they be afraid of a rabbit now? However, as the fat rabbit staggers closer and closer, the performance of the two heaven stage exotic beasts is becoming more and more unimaginable. The crimson bear's enormous body lay prostrate on the ground, its fan-like palms hugging its head and burying it in the ground. Its tower-like body trembled uncontrollably. The snow leopard wasn't much better off. Its long tail was tightly clamped, and its blood-stained fur was standing on end. It bared its teeth at the fat rabbit, but it wasn't a threat. Instead, it was more like a roar of despair. Just as everyone was baffled, the fat rabbit walked to the middle of the two exotic beasts, and its mung bean eyes lit up. Then, it opened its small mouth towards the red bear. Whoosh! It was as if a cool breeze had brushed past the Colosseum. Then, the tower-like red bear in front of everyone disappeared. The fat rabbit rolled over and touched its belly with its stubby paws. It was still flat. Thus, it turned around, faced the snow leopard, and opened its small mouth again. There was a deathly silence in the hall. After a few breaths, someone let out an earth-shattering scream. Disappeared, disappeared. The two heaven stage beasts disappeared. What's going on? Where did the heaven stage beasts go? Why is it gone? Could it be? Could it have been eaten by that rabbit? What kind of joke is this? How could a rabbit eat heaven stage beasts? Moreover, look at the size of those two heaven stage exotic beasts. If they were really eaten, where did the heaven stage beasts go? Chapter 136. The ghost envoys in the beast-fighting Colosseum seem to come back to their senses at this time. Catch it, quickly catch it for me. The disappearance of the heaven stage strange beast must have something to do with this rabbit. We can't let it run away. A hint of panic flits through those round mung bean eyes. Its short legs jump even faster. The fat rabbit's figure turns into a stream of light in a split second, scuttling back and forth in the crowd, trying to escape. However, there are too many people tracking it. There are 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside, surrounding the fat rabbit tightly. Not long after, a ghost envoy pounces on the fat rabbit and lifts it up by the neck. Little bastard, let's see where you can run to now. No matter how you look at it, this bastard is just an ordinary rabbit. How could it possibly swallow a heaven stage strange beast? Humph, whether it swallowed it or not, wouldn't we know once we cut open this little bastard's belly? Saying that, a dagger appears in the ghost envoy's hand that's holding the fat rabbit, and he's about to slide it down the fat rabbit's bulging belly. However, the knife hasn't fallen yet. Suddenly, the sound of a zither buzzes in his ears. Immediately after, a sharp pain comes from the hand that's holding the knife, and the dagger falls to the ground in a flash. And the tendons in the hand that's holding the rabbit are directly cut off. The ghost envoy howls in pain, and he immediately loosens his grip on the rabbit. In a split second, the fat rabbit's figure turns into a stream of light, and with a whoosh, it scuttles into a familiar embrace. A whining sound comes from its throat, and its chubby body can't help but tremble because of the lingering fear. Strangely, the whining it makes doesn't sound like a rabbit at all, but more like a young and tender whine. Mayan hugs the little guy in her arms, smoothing its fur, and teasingly says, "Did you learn your lesson this time? Let's see if you still dare to run around in the future." The fat rabbit sticks out its tongue and licks her fingers. Then it turns over in her arms, and its fat belly comfortably rubs against her. Then it happily closes its eyes and goes to sleep. This dead rabbit. Mayan is speechless. In this world, is there a more useless, lazier spiritual pet than this fat rabbit? She really wants to just strangle this guy to death. Who are you? You actually dare to hurt the people of my ghost city? Are you tired of living? June Mayan, let's see where you can escape to. Two voices sounded at the same time. In front of them were the ghost messengers of the Colosseum, the group of people who had just caught the fat rabbit. Behind them were the pursuers sent by Magistrate Sue. Almost every one of them was an expert at the peak of heaven's stage or above. It could be said that the current Mu Yin had nowhere to go, and there were pursuers behind her. It would be hard for her to escape even if she had wings. June Mu Yin, I advise you to obediently surrender. Otherwise, if we make a mistake and injure your beautiful face and body, it will be too late for you to regret it. Mayan holds the Tianimo chin horizontally across her chest, her expression leisurely, her eyes biting cold. Is that so? Why don't you try and see how you can fail? As soon as she finished speaking, her jade-like fingers gently plucked the strings. The clanging of weapons and armored horses flowed out from her fingertips. At the same time, the notes turned into sound blades and shot towards the ghost envoys. Back in the fog forest, Mayan's zither sound blade could only hurt one person with each sound. At this moment, the sound blades could already turn into a meteor-like rain of swords, making it impossible to dodge or evade. After a few short breaths, the ghost envoys blocking in front of Mayan all screamed and collapsed. The remaining ghost envoys widened their eyes in horror, looking at Mayan like they're looking at a monster. It's not like the people of Ghost City haven't seen a pre-celestial powerhouse. Chapter 137. In the blink of an eye, several peak Earth stage and early Heaven stage ghost messengers actually fell to the ground. Facing June Mayan, they don't even have the slightest bit of power to resist. June Mayan, don't run if you have the guts. Magistrate Sue's bellow comes from a distance. What followed was the terrifying pressure of an inborn expert. And it wasn't just one, but 5. Mu Yin, however, chuckled lightly and said in a clear voice, Magistrate Sue, have you gone senile? This lady is a woman, so naturally I don't have any guts. On the other hand, if Magistrate Sue is willing to be like me and be a gutless person, there's no harm in me staying behind to discuss with Magistrate Sue. Aw, slut, slut. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Magistrate Sue rushes over like a gust of wind, but there's no sign of June Mayan in front of him. Where is he? Where is that bitch? The ghost envoy trembled. She ran away. Trash. Magistrate Sue swings a slap over, ruthlessly flipping that ghost envoy to the ground. You can't even keep a woman. What's the use of the ghost city? Find that bitch for me, dead or alive. Whoever finds that bitch will be heavily rewarded. The ghost city has been turned upside down. All the guests have been driven to the beast-fighting Colosseum and are not allowed to leave. The ghost envoys in the ghost city are all dispatched, conducting a carpet search, just to find a young girl who hasn't even reached 20 years of age. However, no matter how they searched, they couldn't even catch Mu Yan's shadow. On the contrary, bad news kept coming from various places in the Ghost City. Magistrate Su. Not good. Not good. That Wanren coup has collapsed. All the slaves have run out. Magistrate Su. This is bad. The armory. All the weapons in the armory have been emptied. Magistrate Su. Things aren't looking good. Those strange beasts and slaves at the back of the beast-fighting coliseum have all been released from their cages. Moreover, I don't know why, but all of them seem to have gone berserk. The original draft can't control them anymore. Magistrate Su's eyes are bloodshot, and his eyes are about to split open. He's so angry that he's about to explode. Junmayan, I will tear you into 1,000 pieces. Bitch, I'm going to tear you to pieces. At this moment, Magistrate Su wished he could tear Junmayan's corpse into 10,000 pieces, but unfortunately, he couldn't even touch the corner of Junmayan's clothes. Junmayan is like a cat playing with a mouse, freely shuttling through the Ghost City. Wherever they went, they would wreak havoc and create chaos. The Tian Imo Chin Zither Soundblade is not a joke. Under the support of powerful, profound energy, even a sturdy building could be instantly destroyed into rubble. Thus, one side chased while the other fled. In less than an hour, the flourishing Ghost City, which originally represented the pinnacle of Xia'an's power, has unexpectedly been turned into ruins everywhere. It's a tragic sight. In the end, there was not only anger in Magistrate Su's eyes, but also panic. The Ghost City was destroyed. If he still can't catch Mayan today, he will definitely die an incomparably unsightly death. Thinking of this, Magistrate Su's twisted face revealed a crazed killing intent and malevolence. Today, in the entire Ghost City, there is only one place that hasn't been destroyed or plundered. Warehouse for drafts. Therefore, Junmayan will definitely go there. Magistrate Su took his people and rushed to the location of the medicinal ingredients warehouse as fast as lightning. With a bang, the door was kicked open. Chapter 138. As soon as he says that, a clear and moving laughter, like silver bells, comes from inside the room. TSK, you guys are really slow. I've been waiting here for a long time. The door opens, revealing the empty warehouse. In the center of the warehouse, cabinets are stacked high and high. At the top, a young girl in green sits leisurely, her black hair lightly dancing, her smile languid, looking down at the few people who rush into the room. If it's not that Junmayan, who else could it be? Many of the medicinal herbs that are stored in the Ghost City's draft warehouse are priceless and priceless. They can also be regarded as the Ghost City's treasures. However, the warehouse in front of them is completely empty. There's nothing left. All the herbs once again, they've been plundered clean by Mayan. Magistrate Su's chest heaves up and down, looking at Mayan with eyes that can almost spit fire. But the next moment, his face suddenly changes, revealing a greedy look. Junmayan, you have a spatial treasure on you, right? Otherwise, with so many things in the Ghost City, how would she be able to plunder everything cleanly? In the Yinwu continent, a portable space is a legendary treasure. Even in the Ghost City, there's only one Ghost Emperor at the highest level. But this Junmayan has a spatial treasure on her. If he can seize this spatial treasure, then he can be absolved of today's crime. What Magistrate Su can think of, the other pre-celestial powerhouses can also think of. Their reactions are surprisingly fast, and in the blink of an eye, they've already surrounded Mayan. Miss June, if Magistrate Su had spoken inappropriately just now and offended you in any way, we can apologize on his behalf. Our Ghost City has always treated you as an honored guest. Why must we fight to the point of life and death? This time, the one who speaks is a middle-aged man who looks like a scholar. This man looks younger than the others. But the moment Mayan looks at him, she slightly narrows her eyes. Although they're both pre-celestial, this man is clearly a lot stronger than Magistrate Su and the others. When the man sees Mayan looking over, he looks up at her snow-white complexion, and a touch of amazement flits through his eyes. Then he hooks up his lips, revealing a refined and gentle smile. This one is Chao Wandao, also a magistrate of Xia'an's Ghost City. If Miss June doesn't mind, why don't we sit down and have a good talk? In fact, The 5 pre-celestial powerhouses here are all Ghost City's magistrates. After all, no matter how strong the Ghost City is, pre-celestial powerhouses aren't like radishes or cabbages that can be found anywhere. Chao Wendao shows kindness to Mu Yin. Magistrate Su's eyes flash with unwillingness and resentment, but he doesn't say anything in the end. Today's matter has turned out to be like this. Although the other magistrates are also helping him to capture Mu Yin, however, she still held a grudge against him in her heart. It was obviously a good thing to recruit a powerful alchemist, but it was unexpectedly handled like this by this idiot Su Wenhu. Even the Ghost City was almost demolished. I'm afraid that regardless of the outcome of today's matter, Su Wenhu's position as an infernal judge will no longer be maintained. Hearing Chao Wendao's words, Mu Yan's lips curled into a playful smile. Sit down and have a good talk? If we talk, you won't force me to become Ghost City's exclusive alchemist? Or are you saying that if we talk, you won't covet the secret space treasure on me? Chapter 139. This is the first time I've heard someone explain forcibly seizing in such a fresh and refined way. Mayan mockingly says, but what if I don't want to? Chao Wendao's eyes suddenly darken, and he slaps the air with his palm. With a loud bang, the dozen or so medicine cabinets under Mayan are smashed into pieces. Wood shavings flutter and dust fill the sky. When the ghost envoys who are chasing after Mayan see this scene, they take a step back with pale complexions. They look at Chao Wendao with awe and worship in their eyes. This June Mayan is definitely going to die today. Hee, these are 5 magistrates, 5 pre-celestial powerhouses? So what if June Mayan is also a pre-celestial? 1 against 5. Is there still a need to guess what the outcome will be? Isn't it June Mayan's own stupidity? Since she escaped, she should have obediently hid. She was actually stupid enough to stay in the warehouse. Now that she's being besieged by Magistrate Chao and the others, how can she still have a way out? In the crowd, Ru Yan's complexion is deathly pale. She looks at old Tao at the side. Her voice is already trembling. It's me. It's me who harmed Miss June. Miss June accepted my invitation. What should I do? How can I save Miss June? Old Tao grits his teeth. Miss June has given me a new lease of life. Old Tao, can't just watch her die. Miss Ru Yin, you stay here. Old Tao, will go outside the Ghost City to get reinforcements. Before I come back, you mustn't let Miss June die. Ru Yan's complexion is still deathly pale, but there's a persistent light in her eyes. Okay, even if I have to risk my life, even if I have to kneel on the ground and beg, I will definitely protect Miss June. I won't let anything happen to her. Old Tao nods, and his figure shuttles through the crowd, quickly disappearing. Ru Yin is staring at the direction of the warehouse. When the wood shavings and dust scatter, a blue figure, like a slowly blooming blue lotus, floats down from the sky. Chao Wendao looks at the girl's picturesque face and says in a deep voice, June Mayan, I'll give you one last chance. If you obediently surrender, I guarantee that the Ghost City will absolutely let bygones be bygones for your actions today. Magistrate Chao, why are you still being so long-winded with her? Magistrate Su finally couldn't take it anymore and let out an angry roar. This slut killed my disciple Luo Fei. We can't let her off today no matter what. Saying that, his eyes revealed a sinister and vicious look. There's one more thing that Magistrate Chao probably doesn't know. This slut has a very precious son. When the time comes, we'll capture her son and torture him. No matter how stubborn this bitch is, won't she still have to obediently surrender? Mayan gently plucks the Tian Emochin in her hands. Her voice is soft and her smile is charming. Magistrate Su, I could have easily escaped from under your eyes, but I've been waiting here, not leaving. Do you know why? Why? The strings of the Tian Emochin are plucked, making an irregular but pleasant sound. Mu Yan's words were accompanied by the sound of the zither, because before I leave, I still want your life. In this world, all the people who humiliated and hurt Xiaobao, not a single one of them would be spared. As soon as he finished speaking, his slender and fair fingers suddenly moved. The gentle music turned into a roar that was like a monstrous wave. Piak, 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 piak. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.